All right. What's up, guys? Let's see. We got 8 people in the house. Happy Friday, everyone. We made it. End of the week. Don't know if you're a TGIF kind of person or you're just sad that it's Friday. Maybe you love working. For me, it changes week to week. Usually I'm sad that it's Friday. I like the work week. Well, we're waiting on Dennis and Rob to come and join us. They're running a little bit late. Tisk. You'll have to give us some flack in the comments. For you guys that don't know what's going on here, what we're doing today is week 9 of a 90-day challenge course that we've been building out with Dennis and Rob. So essentially what we did is we started Dennis and Rob 0 to hero, no land investing experience, started them with $10,000 and have scaled them up and have shown that whole entire process from start to finish. We've documented every step of what would someone need to do to build a 6-figure plus land investing business in 90 days or less. So far into the challenge, we've spent $4,800. We've added over $105,000 of pipeline profit since then, which is pretty bad to the bone. Here's one of them. We're still missing the other one. You guys didn't get the memo, huh?
No, Rob. So Rob just said he's coming on right now. Let me make sure he's got the right invite. Sorry, the kids were in the pool for the past, I don't even know, 8 hours. I just had to drag them out. They're so pissed off right now. I was like, you guys spent an entire school day in the pool. You're good.
That's what you do during the summer, man. That's the perks of the summer.
Yep.
I was just giving them some context on what we've been building, though. So we're at week 9. This has all been kind of a private one-on-one coaching thing that we've been doing. Something we're actually building out as a program. We're taking week 9 live. And for everyone on this call, we're actually opening up a 50% discount to the 90-day 0 to hero program. So program launches in about 5 weeks. If you guys want to pre-order or reserve a spot for the program, you get it at half off for being on the call. Prices are going to double in the coming 4 weeks. So once it's actually live, prices are going up to about $1,800 right now. You guys can get it at half off. I'll put the link in the chat if anyone's interested. All LIA members get grandfathered in. So if you're a LIA member, this isn't for you. Frankly, if you're looking for the abridged version to building a land business, this is it. We cover every nook and cranny, but we do it where it's 80-20 of everything, Pareto principle on everything, right? How do we get the most bang for our buck with the least amount of money, with the least amount of time? Because Rob, you guys have been, or not Rob, Dennis, you guys have been putting in how many hours a week into the land business? This isn't your full-time thing. What's the playbook been? We spent $4,800 out of $10,000 thus far. I know you guys got a new contract today. We'll talk about that. What's the time commitment been like for you guys?
So honestly, me and Rob always go excessive with everything. So we are probably somewhere around 2, maybe 3 hours each a day.
Okay.
So it's not like we're it's not like we're going at this 9 hours a day and both of us and all this stuff. Yep. If we cut it down to just doing what Sensei says, what Sumner says, we'd probably only be at I'd say 2 hours a day. Easy.
Yeah. I always tell people, they're always Sumner, I've got a full-time job or another business. How much time do I need to put forth to build a land business? Say at minimum about 10 hours a week. People are well, how much money do I need? I'm at minimum $10,000, right? And that's literally what we've gone here and shown is you can build a 6-figure land business in a matter of a few months. So far, we're about 2 months into the challenge. We've already turned 48 into 100 plus, and we'll talk about that, what that new deal brought you guys to. And what we're going to do today is actually talk about one of the new deals they got. We're actually going to call a seller lead live, though. We're going to call a monster subdivide deal that came in from the same batch, 6,500 mailers, $4,800 in spend. When I say $4,800 in spend, I'm talking about every tool, every tool you guys have, which is Data Tree, which is the LIA Pebble version. What else? Map? Do you guys have MapRight? You guys have MapRight?
ID Map, yeah. MapRight.
Yeah, whatever. I hate that new name.
I hate that. I like the other one back better.
Yeah, MapRight was much better. Data Tree, that's really it, right?
Pat Live.
Yeah.
Data Tree, Pat Live, ID Map, and is that all we use, Rob? Oh, Pebble.
Yeah. We just switched over to Pebble, and it's been amazing so far.
Oh my God, yeah. Pebble is crushing it.
Yeah. Pebble's awesome. Yeah, for you guys that don't know, we built out kind of a LIA variant of Pebble. What have you guys thought about the bells and whistles that we've added in? Have you guys been using them? Stages, tasks, all that stuff.
So far, it's just been really simple to use. We can text out of there. We can make phone calls. record the phone calls. We got a board. We can move things down the line. And I really do like actually that everything's tagged under an APN.
Yeah.
That has actually been really nice. So, I mean, we don't have any complaints so far.
Yeah.
No.
If you guys don't know the difference of like Pebble versus a standard CRM, Pebble does two things really uniquely. One, it's a CRM, but it's also a database. So you store all of your data in there. And that allows them to have oversight over everything that's going on to your business. And so you get a lot of really cool intelligence that you otherwise wouldn't. Like if you look at any other CRM, it's like CRM and then data lives in Excel or whatever. Well, that data actually comes into Pebble and you can mail out of it. You can do all those cool things. But what we're working on with Pebble right now is like, hey guys, you own all of this really cool data. You should be able to interpret that and give them a full KPI dashboard that all of our manual KPI tracking that we do, it should show them that automated, right? So it removes the need of having a VA track your KPIs and whatnot. What I found is like everyone needs KPIs. Like you have to, this business is as simple as I want to get to this destination. What are the KPIs needed to get there? Can we maintain them for whatever that timeline is to achieve that goal, right? Most land investors don't even track their KPIs. It's usually just an adherence problem, right? No one's tracking them. No one's putting in the data. No one's interpreting the information. And so you don't have them, right? And so Pebble has all that data. They should be spitting it out in a really nice format. So we've actually been working with the development team on that. The other thing that Pebble does that's interesting is the property is the hierarchy. And then contacts sit underneath it. You see most CRMs, the contact is the hierarchy. If you look at land, it's a two-sided business. We got acquisitions, we got dispositions. And so it gets funky when you have all of this redundancy, right? And then in Pebble, it's like property, everything's nested under it. It's really cool. And what we've built out is like, so like they use these stages, these Kanban boards essentially. And every stage you have a checklist that you have to go through. So for you or your team, it takes all of the guesswork on what's the next step. What do we need to do to move this deal along? It's like ding, 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 ding. You just go and check them off. I'll actually share that in the chat if anyone's interested.
If at some point you want to pull up ours too, like I feel like we got ours pretty dialed in. So if at any point you guys want to do that, we can.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I actually have it on screen. I could pull it up.
Okay.
Hey, you want to share it?
Yeah, I'll do it. Let me just pull that up. So.
And you guys got a new contract today, huh?
Yeah. So, if anybody tuned into the sales call last night, I got that contract signed today.
Nice.
So, which I do want to talk to you about that one because I have some ideas with this deal.
Okay.
But I definitely need like your professional opinion. I mean, that's what we're here for. Just tell me like what we should do with it because it's a little bit unique. So this is Pebble. This is how it comes in. Now, unfortunately, when we started our Pebble, we had already bought mailers from Rocket Print, which Rocket Print mailers are a little bit cheaper, but Pebble is an all-in-one integration, so it is actually simpler. So it's just like kind of weighing out your things, like whatever you want to do. But these are all our campaigns. So every time we have like any kind of mailer, anything, any data gets uploaded into here. So we could just go in here and like pull like whatever, like add campaign. We could just go and like pull whatever we want, select, export it, and hit mail, which is sick. It's awesome because usually if like I want to just pull 40 plus acres, I could just go Rob. So Rob's the integrator in the business. He knows how to do this side more than I do. I only live in like these three tabs right here, the seller deals.
Yep.
Rob lives everywhere else. So he knows more about that stuff. But basically we could talk to everybody here. So we could text people throughout. So we're like texting people and saying, you know, hey, whatever, we're finding out any information we need with them, which is awesome. And then here's our deal stages. So this CRM is just from the mailers we sent during this 90-day challenge.
Yeah.
That's all that's in here. So these are all the actual people that raised their hand and said, I want to sell. And these are the deals we have under contract. These are the deals we have in. So lead ins, these are the ones that we either have to call or have called. Actually, I gotta go through these. I might not have called all these.
Yep.
There's no answers. You know, you go through negotiation. So all this stuff comes set up with the LIA stuff, which is amazing. Yeah. So here you go. Due diligence, follow up, contract out. And these are the 4 signed contracts that we have. So what's crazy, just these 4 contracts alone are, I think we're close to $100,000 net just on these 4 signed.
Yep.
Okay. And then if we add in this one, it's another almost $30,000.
Yeah.
Oh,
We got to figure that one out. That one's a little funky, but
Well,
hey, Dennis,
I'm back and forth if I even want to do that deal. So we
Yeah.
kind of want to.
What's the scoop on that deal? Why are you back and forth on it?
I'll show you it. So this deal is a little weird right here. So let me pull the APN up.
So one of the things is the guy just wants to close without an attorney, which
No.
we have to have in North Carolina.
No.
So he's like, send us a check, send me a check, and I'll send you the title. And we're like, what the hell? So no. And then we were looking at it. We were like, well, maybe we can self-close on it. Maybe we just have to run the title search before. So,
dude, there's a reason he wants to self-close. No. If you're covering title costs and close or the attorney costs, should be no skin off his back. So anytime that gets brought up is red flag.
okay, cool.
Either the title's jacked up, he wants to pull a fast one on you. There's always a reason.
But he swears
if you're
he's the only
splitting
owner.
costs, what?
I said, but he swears he's the only owner.
Yeah.
If you guys are splitting costs, then yeah, you could see why you might have reservations about it, but you're covering costs. Maybe is it a timeline issue? Is he really urgent to get the money? Try to suss out what that actually is. Actually, I remember looking at this one with you guys. This is the one that has that access issue. That might
Yeah, this is the one. So it has this small like parcel in front of it. So right there, that tells me, well, it's kind of landlocked. And I asked him, he's like, oh, it's only about 20 feet. Well, if you go tools, go here. And I just even measure the furthest part of his parcel. Even right there to the road is what?
40?
Oh, I guess
42?
40 feet.
Yeah.
He told me, he was like, it's like 3 feet. So, yeah.
3 feet.
From here.
Here, yeah.
That's hilarious.
So I was like, okay, whatever. And that little thing. So we were like, oh, we were just, you know what it was? We didn't have enough leads because this is one of our first leads that came in.
Yeah.
So we were like, just trying to make everything a deal. And I'm like, well, I'll call this guy and I'll try to make it work and this and that. But now that we have this pipeline filled with like leads that are actual like legit leads, it's like, well, why try to make this one work? Right.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
just
always tell LIA members, it's like a good pipeline resolves all issues in your business, and it also changes your thinking.
yeah.
Right? That desperation leads to bad moves. Now, I know when people have their back up against the wall, they pull out miracles, sure. But more times than not, they'll try to stick a square peg in a round hole with these deals that shouldn't be done. Frankly, a deal like this, there's definitely value in the deal. This is a pretty hot market. It wouldn't be impossible or very difficult, I don't think, to get an easement from either this guy here, the weird pizza slice lot, or the adjacent lot here on the left. But if you can, then no go. So I would just lock it up with a long timeline, and you could even market it in the interim. We have a deal like this that we're doing right now too in Tennessee. It's very similar.
Yeah.
We skip trace this guy too, so we have the neighbor's number. I threw that in there earlier today.
He wants us to close in 7 days.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Have you sussed out what the urgency is? There's got to be some reason behind that.
He's just an old dude, no email or anything like that. So even just sending him the contract, it was an overnight contract, and then he gave him an envelope to overnight it back to us. And we've called him, and Rob called him too, and he's like, just send me a check. He's like, I got this envelope. I thought a check was going to be in there. I was like, it doesn't work like that. I'm sorry. I hate to tell you, but it does not work like that. So
No.
You send us the title, and then we'll send you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I said we have to go to title. We have to go through the process. It's not just easy, like just.
Yeah. When I used to do a bunch of self closings, we would always just make them sign the deed first, and then we'd pay them after. And a lot of people do it. It's pretty surprising.
Yeah, that is surprising.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, actually, I'll tell you guys a quick story. I don't know if anyone gives a hoot about this story, but very interesting. I had one of my nightmares come true today. One of the worst case scenarios. I am a stickler about customer service. Like, I don't know, I don't know if it's like a self-worth thing or why I care so much about it, but that's like one area that really scares me. It's just botching it there. So one of our very first customers, like probably my third or fourth customer in our land business, bought a deal from us in Arizona. Owner financed it. Great guy. We were like totally we broed out. We had like a couple phone calls. He sent me pictures of him and his girlfriend on the property. Super cool dude. He was from back east. Made the trek out to Arizona to go see the land. Well, he made his payments on time. Never missed a payment. Was a great borrower. He did the deal on owner financing. Made his last payment in July of last year, July 1st. And somewhere in that process, when we went to go record the deed, something happened. didn't get recorded. Don't know what happened. Somewhere there was a disconnect. So I get a text from a random number last night saying, "Is the property paid off?" I'm like, "Who is this?" Like, they wouldn't tell me their name. There's like sending me these like really nondescript text messages. I looked up this name in the phone number in our CRM. I couldn't find the person in our CRM. Like, who the heck is this person? And he keeps on saying, like, this property in Arizona, you defaulted on me. I've got all the papers, all this. I'm going to take you to like the district attorney. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, what is going on? So I talked to my team. I'm like, who is this guy? No one can find the number.
Oh my
And
God.
we're going back and forth. He's just freaking me out. I'm like, dude, this is literally my worst fucking nightmare coming true. And like, when someone defaults with us, I'm like a real sensitive about this stuff. Like, we've got people that haven't paid us in a year, and I'm still trying to make it work with them. Like, I do not default willy-nilly. So I'm like, I know every person we've ever had to default on. I'm like, I would know. We couldn't find any defaults in this county in Arizona that he said it was in. Well, long story short, we ended up finding this guy's name. So this is so interesting. It was like the third or fourth deal I'd ever done. We didn't have a business email at this time. I didn't have a CRM. When we logged it inside GeekPay, we never put his name. We just put an APN. There was like no way for us to like categorize or sort by this. And he didn't know how to find the APN. The guy's blowing us up. And I just ended up sending him like a 15-minute video response. And I literally went through every step of how all of this got lost in communication. I'm like, dude, my personal number used to be on the internet. I get literally hundreds of texts a week from strangers. I got a new phone. I don't know. I have never had your number saved. I'm like, this is my personal email. It's got 57,000 emails in it. I have never checked this email inbox. Here's our new company email. Here's our team's phone. I went through all of it, and we ended up becoming the best of friends. He was like, dude, I'm a small business owner. Like, the way you made this right, man, this was incredible. And we sent him a box of 2D cookies. I don't know if you got the order. So
She's like,
yeah.
She's like, oh, I wonder what this is.
Yeah. Dennis's wife owns a really, really tasty cookie business. Anyone recently that signed up for LIA has probably received a dozen or half a dozen cookies in the mail. And so we send him a box of cookies to make things right. Turns out he wants to buy another property from us. But dude, when I tell you I was terrified, that was my worst fear coming true. It's like, oh God, yeah, it's just a nightmare. But we resolved it. I think the playbook there is just candor. I'm like, dude, I walked him through every step on how this got lost in communication, and I took full responsibility. And sure enough, from a small business owner to a small business owner, he's like, dude, I respect the hell out of that. And
yeah,
so, yeah,
seriously, that's the way to do customer service, though. Honestly, it's like,
but the thing is, like, I always was so afraid of getting sued. I was always afraid of doing something wrong with a customer. Sometimes you need to have the worst case scenario happen, and then you resolve it. And then you realize, if it happens again, I know I've got the skills to handle it. Right. Just like what we were talking about last night on the live call. It's like, some people need to have a bad seller call where the seller blows up on them, calls them an idiot, says you're stupid. I don't want to sell you my land. You need to go through that, because then you realize, A, I can handle it, and B, it's not that severe. It's always that imagination of the worst case scenario is always so much worse than the worst case scenario playing out in reality. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So anyways, cool. You guys want to make some calls?
We just got a brand new lead right now.
Like just now?
Dennis, don't you have a call at 2? Don't we have to be on the horn at 2:15?
Yeah, I'm texting him right now.
Go.
Oh shit, we did.
So as you guys don't know, fill in the gaps here. We've got this $800,000-ish, 160 acre subdivide. I think you guys are buying it for less than 2, right?
156.
Yeah, 156. Monster deal, double-sided road frontage, incredible property. So we're gonna call them live, whole family, and we're gonna see if we can put together a deal here in real time. We called them earlier this week on one of the LIA calls. We had a brief conversation. They scheduled this call, and we're like, you know what? It's scheduled. Let's do it. Let's do it live. I think you guys are going to learn a lot, and you guys might witness. Hey, we're at a $100K net from $4,800 in marketing spend. Well, we might turn that $4,800 into $700K net. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Go.
Pretty outlandish.
Rob, can you add that new lead to Pebble real quick?
Yeah.
It should just push, right?
No.
Sweet. So this guy just
Putting it in manually.
Okay. Yeah, so we just got a new lead. So I just texted the son. I'm just trying to see if he's ready. So the problem is like, he's got the whole family, the mom, the sisters, everybody's calling them all together. And then he calls me. And then we talk it out. So his whole thing is, this is a funny story. So they bought the property for $5,000 on the back of a napkin. And then the wife is like, I don't know if my husband ever recorded it, but he passed away. And I don't even know if they own the property. So then we looked it up. We found like Sumner had pulled up real quick on DataTree, which is DataTree is great for this stuff. The actual like some of the information about the property, when it was transferred and all that stuff. So we're able to look at it and you can see her name on title, which means it transferred, which is pretty awesome. So let me just see. So yeah.
Do you want to give me the screen and I'll show them how I put it in?
Sure. I think you just hit present.
Okay.
Hit in the bottom, hit present, and then share if you want to share the whole screen or just the window.
Okay.
Should we just dial them?
Yeah, I was about to, but do you want to show them how to put the lead in, Rob?
Yeah. I mean, can you see it now?
No. Oh, let me add you to the stream. There you go.
Okay. So we made a little zap so that because otherwise you just kind of get a partial info from Pat Live in the text message. So I made a little zap that kind of puts it into a better system, little better setup for us. Arthur Choate. Where was this one?
Seminole County.
So I go into county. I weeded down by Seminole, Choate, Arthur Choate, I believe. Check our reference number, 3031. I throw his info in there. I add him to our board. Show lead in. So he's on our board now. And then I'm trying to set up some tagging. So like we know it's a Pat Live lead. We also know he is a lead. So that's all we're doing. And now he's in our pipeline. And Dennis has got some info to go off of. The other thing I'll do as well is go back in here and I'll just, I didn't save it, throw his contact info in there. That way we're just teeing Dennis up with, so all he's got to do is come in here, punch in a number, and make his life easy so he can close some deals.
Nice.
I won't do this now, but the other end is I'll find the lat long and we'll find the parcel as well. So.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, see, I don't do any of that stuff. That's what Rob does. This is what I do. Ready?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to call this guy right now. This is the son of Dolores. His name is Michael. So the reason why we're redoing this call today, they were almost ready to go, but I said it was on Monday or Tuesday. And then they had a few questions. Their reservations are one, that tax implications of their mother taking over selling the property, which you lose their Social Security. And one, I told them they have to talk to their CPA, but two, they also just wanted to think it over. So they said somebody else had offered, but they offered less than we did. So, but it's still a deal no matter what. All right, here we go.
Hello?
Hey, Michael, it's Dennis with Cash for Land.
How you doing, Dennis?
I'm doing good. What's up?
We have looked through stuff, we pondered over it, and my sisters we're gonna wait a little bit.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, why the change?
Huh?
Why the change?
My little sister, talking to some other people where she's from, trying to look into something different.
Okay. What does that entail, you think?
Yeah. Thank you. And you enjoy your summer.
Before I let you go, I just wanted to know, because I got to market in my system and stuff like that. What was the change? What's the main reason why you guys You're going to go with someone else, or possibly not sell at all?
Not going with nobody else.
Yeah.
Their options. My sister thing is getting kind of not offered that much on those. When she looked at some other lay-in prices and seeing how much people were getting, so it just.
Sure. So it was like a price thing.
Huh?
It was a price thing, you think?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
That's what we're trying to do, something better for her. But
Yeah.
right now, we're just gonna wait it out a little bit. See what's going on.
Well, what do you think you need? Where do you think you guys need to be at to make something happen? And I mean, we might be able to come up a little bit. I got to look, but I just want to make sure I'm doing the right thing with you guys. You know?
No, you're fine. I have to get with them and we'll check to listen to something later.
Yeah.
I don't have them on the phone. Actually, I forgot about calling you. I just walked over here or got in here.
Yeah, because I'd love to talk to you all guys and together and try to make something work. At the end of the day, you know, I mean, look, at the end of the day, you saw what happened with the mailers too. As the mailers are coming in, the prices were going down. So sometimes waiting doesn't always pan out, you know, and that's also another thing like I want you guys to think about. So just if you guys want, why don't we reconvene next week maybe? Or if you want, can you get everybody together tonight?
It'll be a while. I'm heading to hit the vacation on vacation, so.
Okay. Sure.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Nice. Good. Where are you going? Somewhere good?
Just down in Galveston.
Galveston. Nice. I've never been down there. What do you got? Anything good?
I've never been down there either. We've been everywhere else but there.
Okay.
Just go out and go hang out beach.
Nice. Nice. I wish I was good at golf. I suck at it. I'm usually in the weeds to the left and to the right. Sucks. Crazy.
Well, that's guys. And I'll get with them and see what you're gonna do later. I'm just ready to take my break.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, let's find out. You got to also find out if your mom even owns the property too. That's another major thing. I mean, we did a napkin look at it, but we don't even know if she owns the property too. So keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I'll follow up with you guys. I'll keep in touch. And then, we'll see what happens from there.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. You have a good vacation. Enjoy yourself.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye. Yeah. What can you do?
Yeah, you win some, you lose some.
It's all good.
Yep.
So I'll just mark that in the thing. So I knew this is from the sales side. This is always what happens the second a son gets involved and stuff like that.
Yeah. But I say this is we've had a situation play out so many times.
Yeah, always what happens. The mom is like, I just want it sold. I don't care. I just want the money in my pocket so I could live happily.
Yep.
And then the kids are like, no, mom, you can't do that. We got to do this.
The more people involved, right?
Yeah. And it's not like we're paying more than anybody else.
Yep.
So it's just fun.
So talk to me about this. 2 things, and I think this will be wise for the group. Yeah. What's next steps for you guys? How are you guys going to handle this lead moving forward?
So step 1 is actually I'm going to call the mom, right?
Yep.
I'm just going to call the mom and just touch base with her and just say, hey, your son told me that unfortunately you guys don't want to work with me. And, I just want to find out what I could have done to get your business or whatever the case may be. Just kind of talk to her and just see why. And I just really want to build that rapport with her, right? So she thinks about it. Like every time she even thinks about talking to somebody else, she's just going to be like, I can't. Like I only want to work with Dennis, right? That's the whole thing I want to try to create. So I definitely want to talk to the mom. That's step 1. Step 2 is just add her to our follow-up pipe. Yep. Just keep checking in, right? And
what's that follow-up going to look like for you guys? Let's get tactical. I think it's really going to be helpful because I think a lot of times people have a conversation like that, and they're like, "Do I just call them once a month? Like, what's the cadence? What do I say when I follow up?"
Well, he said 3 weeks. He's going to be back.
Yep.
What do you think, Jen? Dennis, you think touch her once a week or?
I'm probably going to call the mom. I don't want to call her tonight. It's a little too late for that. It's a little too quick of a conversation too.
Yeah.
I'll probably end up calling the mother either tomorrow or Monday. Probably Monday. Probably call her Monday just to touch base with her and let her know what her son said and everything like that. And then I'll follow up with her every week. This is a deal that we want, like really bad.
Yep.
So every week I'm going to be calling her.
Do we send another mailer for less?
Yeah, actually, what I might do
For
no,
less?
That's fucked up, man.
I'm just
That's funny.
no, but I am considering what I might do is actually send the mom a box of cookies for my
I was
wife
about to say,
Great
yep.
idea.
Yep. With a
The hook
handwritten note.
there. I love when you get into pickles like this. Drop a handwritten note, a thoughtful gift,
Yep.
dude. Yeah, sets you way, way apart.
Mhm.
I think an interesting takeaway too is that a lot of people that would have that call that's new to land says, "Okay, he said follow up in 3 weeks, so I'll follow up in 3 weeks." Now you follow up in a week. Like take
Yep.
their timeline, slash them in half, right?
Mhm.
You want to show up well before whatever the agreed upon time is, because the truth is, what Dennis might have done here is planted a little infectious seed about selling, and then a week later, someone comes along with an offer, and they're like, "Oh shit, maybe we should just sell." And they take that guy's offer, not Dennis's. This, I mean, really, this is how the land business works in a lot of ways. It's why direct mail and whatever marketing channel we use, there's really so much. It's just about timing.
Mhm.
And I see that competition sometimes actually helps in our favor. It's warming these people up. And that's why we come along and sometimes you just get those lay down deals because they've been mulling it over with someone else. And then you just come in. It's just timing.
The other thing on that call, I would say from like somebody that's not like an excellent closer, is that dude was trying to get off the phone fast.
Yeah,
You
held them
just
down well.
held him down, held him on there, got a little bit more info. Like normally somebody like me would be like, okay, like maybe get a question or two. You had a full conversation, found out where he's going on vacation, when he's coming back. Now you got a time that you can call him back, you know, grabbed a little bit more info. Who's the one driving this? The sister is. Like maybe we need to talk to her too. So, you know.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I think so often, just from like a really simple kind of framework perspective, if you go and review, I'm talking to you, whoever's watching this, go and review your calls, your team calls, whatever it may be. Watch how many times you buy into the seller's frame. Seller's in a hurry, so you're like, okay, I'm in a hurry too. When you pull them into your frame, like Dennis just kind of anchored him and just stayed there. Super cool, calm, and collected. I think that pays dividends, and you'd be hard pressed to find many folks that would do that on a call like that. Got my cookies today. Worked for me. Should work for her. That's awesome.
Nice.
Many cookies in the house. You have to let us know how you like those cookies. You have to say whatever your favorite cookie is.
Are you gonna have to do like a state specific box as well for? Because we've talked about it. We're sending them to all of our
closing
people that we close a deal with.
Yeah. Oh, you guys are.
Yeah, we're gonna do it every time we close. We're gonna send a box of cookies.
Yeah.
So I think Ashley's gonna do it too.
Well, okay, so I guess we'll sidestep that one unless anyone's got any additional questions. A bit of a bummer. It looked like we had this thing teed up, but such is life. I think it was actually a pretty accurate representation of the emotional roller coaster of having really good deals, right? The truth is, the vast majority of deals that you think you have in your pipeline will dissipate, and then ones that you never expected will come in. It's just this kind of fluid dance that always happens. That's why you never want to get married to a deal. Based off the conversation we had on Monday, this looked like an absolute slam dunk, no questions asked. We had this thing in the bag. And their decision maker comes in. This is classic, and then the deal starts to erode. But the deal's not done. No, this is going to be an ongoing dance, and this is part of the frustration that I've experienced with these bigger deals, these bigger subdivide projects. Is like there's more money at stake. There's more thought that goes into it. There's more decision makers, and with that comes complexity and extended timelines for closing these deals. What Dennis just went through on a deal like this might happen 3, 4, 5, 10 times over again, where it's off, it's on, it's off, it's on, it's off, it's on. You go through some emotional turmoil. Well, let's talk about the latest and greatest deal you guys have put together. We're on week 9 of our 90-day challenge. Before we go through and talk about that deal, let's talk about results. Let's talk about KPIs you guys have hit. Let's talk about how much we've invested. Let's talk about how much we've got in the pipeline. If you guys want to share Pebble, can we just look at those, the ones you got under contract?
Yeah. Do you want to do it, Rob?
Yeah, it's fine.
Good. I'll let Rob do the run through, and then I'll talk through it.
1 second. We actually made a little KPI tracker too until the Pebble one's not live yet, is it? That's still in work?
The KPI tracker?
Yeah.
No, yeah, we're a few months out.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Seller leads. So yeah, I mean here we are. We're at 19 total leads. Actually now 20 because we just added that other one in. These first 5, we still got to touch. We just got that 4th one signed today. All these we pushed over to Ashley. with her TC services. So she's handling all this, is all with the same attorney too, which actually makes it nice, but it's starting to get a little hairy having all these deals up at the same time and stuff. So it's nice to be able to push that off to her. And then the rest, they're just in various stages of, either negotiation or trying to figure out due diligence if we have any kind of issues as far as presenting offers to them. And then we got a couple in the follow-up and one or two dead. One.
Yeah, I think probably 2. We're probably going to kill John Morton. He's probably going to.
All right, let's not say we're going to kill John Morton.
We're
going to kill that
John
deal. John, you're safe. Don't worry. No one's going to come and hurt you.
He won't sell us his property. What the heck?
That jersey and you coming out.
Yeah.
So, okay, quick question. In terms of the TC side of things, so super convenient to have access to a TC in your business, even if you can't have one full time.
Mm-hmm.
What would someone expect in terms of cost to have a TC on a deal? Because it's deal by deal. I think it's standardized pricing, but you just pay for whatever deal you have with them.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. It's $350. That's what Ashley and her team charge, and you get a dedicated rep. So actually, Ashley literally hired somebody just for land. So her name's Jessica. She's awesome. So if you guys ever request a TC, just ask for Jessica. She's the best. Almost as good as Ashley. Got to send love to Ashley. But it's $350, and that takes you from basically contract to close. So you get a contract in your hand, and then you pass it to their team, and then they just open escrow. They do all the correspondence between title, any documents that need to get signed. They'll either pre-fill it for you and then send it to you just for a signature. It's just a huge time saver. So you could focus on your money-making activity of locking up contracts, right? And pricing mail and doing all that stuff. So for $350, it's a freaking no-brainer. And then if you're doing double closes, especially if you're new to the business, they handle everything, and it makes you look professional too. When you have somebody that's dedicated to just closing the transaction, it looks like you know what you're doing. So
that's the thing about someone like Ashley, or really any TCA. Maybe Ashley does this more so than others. She'll literally go to bat for you to talk a seller off the ledge, to get a buyer off the leg. If there's problems in that process, she'll come in and assist. It also makes you look like, like you said, like you know what the heck you're doing. Takes you from a small little mom and pop investor to, oh no, we're a business. We've got resources. I think typically I'm gun shy from using like agencies or these like third-party services. This is one of those few things where I think it actually makes sense to not have a full-time TC unless you're doing huge volume. For most LIA members doing 2-5 deals a month, just outsource it, right? 5 deals a month, $1,500. You're not going to be able to get a TC worth their salt full-time for that. And you also don't have to go through the headache of managing another employee, right? Now, when people are trying to like share an acquisition manager and like fractionalize the cost or use a service, that's where it becomes problematic. But for something like that, it makes a lot of sense, right? Same case. It's like you wouldn't want a photographer on full-time. I actually know land investors that do that. It'd be better to use third-party services. Same story here. Mm-hmm. You guys can find her in the group. Yeah, there you go. There's her website. TC managing acquisition manager roles. Nope. No. It's just like, okay, so we got the deal. Contract goes to title. Seller freaks out. Oh my God, there's a double close. Oh my God. Okay, she'll go and put the fire out. Same thing. Let's say it's a double close. New buyer comes in. What the heck? This is a double close. You're not on title. Okay, we'll go assist and put that fire out. Or same thing. Title company is like, what the heck? This is a double. She'll go and put the fire out. Doesn't just have to be for double closes. It could be for any kind of deal.
Any kind.
You want to spend your time on the sides of the business that make you money, not the sides of the business putting out fires, resolving these little issues. $350 is a measly expense. We have no affiliation. I know this isn't like a pitch for like why you should use Ashley, just why you should have a TC in general. Yeah. A lot of the folks that I know that run lean and mean businesses with 3, 4, 5 employees, but are doing big volume, like 7 figures, they have TCs. It's really, really difficult to be big time and not have a TC. Either you need one full time or you could use a service like that. So anywho, all right.
Even 4 at one time has been like having her handling all this stuff. Like we've already had a few different issues pop up and we're just like, they handle it. And we're like, okay, no problem.
Well, not only that, but they save you money anyways, because instead of me calling 1,000 title companies to try to find the one that does like flat title and all that stuff, just call them and they're like, hey, who in North Carolina does flat fee title? Oh, call Mr. McCullough. They do it. Okay, cool. Done. It's like, it just made the money back. Done.
Yep.
It's no brainer.
No brainer. All right, let's talk about these deals. So walk me through the KPIs. We've got 4 contracts. How many leads do you guys have in total from this batch of mailers?
I think
We're
we
up
got
to
like
20.
30 calls or I think or something like that.
We have 33 calls, 26 forms submitted, and I believe we're at now that's 18 leads.
Okay. 18 leads, 4 contracts so far. Mailer's been out for 3 weeks. 6,500 mailers went out to 4 markets.
Yes. So 18
markets.
leads were from Pat Live inbound calls.
Yep.
And then we had a couple that actually emailed us, and then one that actually went to our website and filled out a form. So bouncing over to Google Sheets from Excel jacked my sheet up. But
so walk me through to this cost per lead here. Let's look at that cost per lead. And what's the it's a little granular. What's the additional column left of it?
Cost of mail.
Cost of mail. Okay.
Can you zoom in, Rob?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is pretty standard, $100 to $300 a lead. It's pretty damn typical. If you guys aren't tracking this stuff and you just don't have perspective around it, you don't realize that when you have a lead in your system, it's gold. And if you or your team is botching that in any manner, they're literally lighting $100 to $300 on fire at a time. That's why I am such a stickler with my team about how leads are handled. If we're slow, if we're sloppy, if we don't get an offer in front of them fast enough, it's like, dude, you just took $300 of mine and lit it on fire, right? That pisses me off. And I think one of the things I've learned about managing people is like, you got to reward good behavior and you got to discipline bad behavior. It's kind of like totalitarian style, which is intense, but a business is a hierarchy and there has to be some kind of line there. I see a lot of people just, whether it's them as a solo operator, they have a team, there's a lot of slop there. Like they just let a lot slide. Once you start seeing these numbers, you start saying, oh shit, we're spending a lot just to get a lead in our system. Shows you why these things need to be treated like they're gold, right?
Yeah, I never even thought of that. The cost per lead, like looking at it now, it's like, oh damn, $300. When you see that in the
puts it in
box.
perspective.
Yeah.
But just to get the lead in your CRM, that's not cost to connected lead either. That's not cost to qualified opportunity. You might be spending $100 to $300 to get the lead in. Doesn't mean you're gonna get them on the phone. Start looking at those metrics. You say, oh shit, we're spending $500 to get a lead on the phone.
Mhm.
It's crazy really quick. Now, luckily, this business is still wildly profitable despite that, but it gives you some kind of perspective on how serious this stuff is and how managing your leads is. You have to. And again, this is the importance of KPI tracking as well, right? You know, I've been doing more one-on-one coaching sessions with LIA members, kind of like in our higher level one-on-one coaching bracket. And some of these folks that are doing big numbers in their business and they're wondering why they can't grow, but they've got nothing quantified, right? They don't know what markets serve them best, what subtypes of land serve them best, what marketing channel works best for them. Like no perspective there.
Mm-hmm.
What gets managed? Right. Well, how's that saying go?
I always, it doesn't rhyme, so I never liked it.
But essentially, if you're not quantifying it, you can't improve it. I don't know how that's not actually how it goes, but it's the truth, right? Yep. The second we started tracking everything in our business, like, cool, I get to take Sumner's little monkey mind, my little emotional mind out of the equation and start making decisions off of cold hard data. The one job I ever worked was at a company called Slide Genius in San Diego. I worked there because the CEO, his name was Rick Enrico, super cool guy. We hit it off. He was like, dude, you're an entrepreneur. I know you're not going to be here long. I'll take you under my wing and I'll show you some game. And he did. We got essentially a year apprenticeship that I got paid for. And one of the things that he told me, I would go to his office on Saturdays and we would hang out in the office and he would just spit game. He would just show me how he built his business. They had over 100 VAs in the Philippines. And so he just showed me everything behind the scenes. And he's like, the way you make, first off, you as an entrepreneur, you get paid based off of the decisions, right? And so how do you make decisions? You got to think about, if I get paid off of decisions, how do I make the highest quality decisions? Because that's going to have a direct contribution to how much I can make. He's like, you make decisions off of data, nothing else. I don't want to hear about your hunch. I don't want to hear about your emotional sway to one side or the other. Let the numbers tell you. And they had this crazy comprehensive multiple Excel sheets where they tracked every needle in their business and quantified it. And so when I started my land business, I was really lucky to already have that as a foundation. I was like, okay, that's a non-negotiable. And it served me well. Anyways, I digress.
Yeah.
Okay, so
what gets measured gets managed. That's what it is.
Okay.
What gets measured gets managed.
There you go.
There you go.
What gets quantified improves. That's the LIA version. TM trademark. All right.
So
65.
yeah, we're like 37 down in the bottom right corner. We're at 37, almost 70 for the mail that we've sent so far. We just add 2 more campaigns worth of mail,
Okay.
but and then now you see our cost to lead for these 4 broken down. Again, this was kind of something rough. I just started putting together today, so now that we actually have some numbers to go off of, so I'm
Gotcha.
sure this will evolve.
Yeah.
What's that first county? Why do you think that county performed so well, right? You got 10 leads, 4 contracts, and a cost per lead at $131. I think, this is where data becomes really interesting, right? Now, this could be a byproduct of just small sample size, not enough data to really have any confirmation. But if we continue to test this out, I'd be curious of whatever that county is, and you guys don't have to share if you don't want to, if that continues to that trend. Look at, you got $100,000 of value from one county, 4 contracts, 10 leads, and your cost per lead is the lowest. Fascinating. Super fascinating.
Do you know what it is? It's a small county that I talk to people that are in the know in the county, and they the one lady actually asked me, she's like, why are you even working this county? And I'm like, just because I was like, well, honestly, I like it because of the proximity to other counties in North Carolina that are major, and where it is and everything like that. I really like it. And she's like, it's like a three light town. There's literally 3 lights in the town and like 800 people that live here. And I was like, it doesn't really matter to me. It's where people go to hang out, right? So then I talked to a realtor, and that realtor too was like confirming everything that I was seeing in the data. But we honestly just care about the data. We look where the data goes. If the data says mail here because there's volume and stuff moving, that's where we mail.
And homogeneous pricing, right? Your favorite thing.
Yep. And it had homogeneous pricing, and it had really good sell-through rate. It had more than 5 sold in the last month and over 30% sell-through rate. So it was just a no-brainer to do that county, really.
So my hunch here is I actually think the reason this played out the way it did is a byproduct of homogeneous pricing.
Yep.
Right. I don't think it's so much that this is a secret county that no one's ever mailed to, whatever. I mean, maybe that's partially true. I doubt it. I think it's more we were on the nose with our pricing, right? And you can see the results of that. And that's why sending mail to markets that you can't quantify pricing is throwing darts at a dartboard. I don't know. That's also a terrible saying. I mean, I guess it kind of is, but it's even worse than that. Throwing darts at a dartboard from 10 miles away.
Yeah.
I would rather throw it from 6 inches away. And so when we can actually price things out reliably, we give ourselves a fighting chance to get it right. And I think what we're seeing here is that story, right?
Cool. It was nice to do multiple counties too at one time to figure out, okay, maybe we mispriced that one. We need to go back and look at that. All of our stuff came from one county. Maybe we should hit around that area as well, like dig in a little more in that area. Now that we got some good contacts, we got some contracts out of it, there's a lot of feedback from just tracking these numbers.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I think that the truism here is that how do we pick markets? We've got a big quantity to choose from. How do we know where to double down and continue our marketing? We have a big quantity of data to choose from, right? When someone comes in, they say, I've got 10 grand to start. They're like, I'm going to do 1 or 2 markets. Like, there's just not enough to find out, because the truth is you're going to be kind of crappy at mailing when you first start, right? Your marketing chops in this business are not going to be very strong. Let's diversify, put some eggs in different baskets, make sure each basket meets our demand threshold. And then we'll test and we'll see what happens. And we know where to double down and spend more on. Let's talk about the 4 contracts we've got. So 4,800 in spend. Let's walk through those deals. Let's talk about what are we gleaning from those? How much are we making off those deals?
All right, so I'll look at the Discord because I actually posted this in Discord a little while ago. Let's see, recent wins. Go here.
Let me know if you want me to click on any of these and bring them up.
No, just because some of the seller's information is there. I don't want to.
Okay, yeah.
Send it live. So one of them is actually all good, right? So that property all good. We might not do that deal, just because that's the one that has a small parcel. The guy wants us to just mail a check. I mean, I'm going to try to do it because that's a buy for $21,000, and if we could clear up that road access thing, sell for $60,000.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a $30,000 profit, which is sweet. And it's funny because like when you think about it now, you're like, I don't want to do that deal. It's 30 grand, but might be a headache. Like, it's just funny. We have more leads. So we're like, don't worry about it. But now whatever. But then we have another one, 6.5 acre. That should be, Rob, you see that one?
This one?
6.5 acre.
Yeah.
So
Franklin?
that one is a buy for 16, sell for 29. I think we'll net in our pockets for that one about $9,000 net for that deal. Not a home run, nice little base hit, but $9,000. That's double what we put in for marketing on one deal.
Yep.
It's like a no-brainer. Deal 3 is buy for 8.5 acres, buy for 21,000. See that one? And that one, so that one's a little light too. We're probably going to sell that for about 40,000. So a little bit less than doubling our money, but I'm going to call and try to negotiate this down a little bit, and see what we get on that one. And then buy for 11 acres. It's a buy for 61,000, sell for 130,000. We should net about 53,000 on that one. Wait, did I give you? Yeah. Okay. I didn't give you that one. And then the last one is the one we just added today. That one is Jane Wilson. So this is an interesting property because I kind of want to keep this one.
Yep.
And land bank on it. But I actually want to talk to you about that.
So let's underwrite it. Can you put it in the private chat and I'll get it pulled up and we can go through this together?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll stop sharing.
Yeah. So this one is interesting for one reason. The reason why I like this property is the future, what I could do with it, right? I'll pull it up on.
I can share my screen. I'll pull it up.
Okay. All right.
It's Warren, yeah?
Yes.
Yep.
Warren County. So the reason why I really like this this deal is the owner owns a ton of acreage in the area, and I built really solid rapport with her. So I kind of don't want to buy and sell the deal because then if she sees like I just sold the deal, I might blow that rapport up. She's older. She does want to sell her other parcels and stuff like that at some point. So I'm wondering if she does want to sell, maybe she'll sell to me, right? So that's one reason why I want to keep it. And two, we do want to land bank a little bit. So every fifth property that we do, we want to buy.
Yeah.
So my thought process, Sumner, is there's this access. Shows she needs this road.
Which one?
Down White.
Yep.
She needs that. That's her property down there.
This one below.
Yeah, that's where she lives. So she needs that driveway. Okay.
Yeah.
So she needs that driveway. The left-hand side is a water easement for the town. That's where they have like the water tower and stuff.
Off of King Street.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So that's fine. That's just like the edge of the property anyways. And then the left side is all the west side. That's all like new growth pines that could be farmed at some point. So that's pretty cool. But the right-hand side is just nothing. It's just open land. So my thought process here is, can I subdivide this, like chop out the road that she needs? Yeah, so she did like a gravel road down there.
Yeah, I can see it right back there. It looks pretty hairy.
Yeah.
And she lives on this property right here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where the heck does she live on it?
Right by up where that driveway is. See that little clear spot? Right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like right there. She's like, I got a garage there, and then I have a house.
I can see it. Yeah,
Yeah,
tiny
it's hard
little
to
house.
see.
Yeah.
It's just her. It's just her and 300 something acres in a fish pond.
Pretty lonely.
So my thought process, Sumner, is can I divide at that road and then sell off that one parcel to the right and get back my cost basis and then keep the one parcel?
Do you know the subdivided rules out here?
I don't. That's something I have to look up.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking about it today when we had our realtor in the area, which, dude, find a good realtor. Chase Furlow in North Carolina. He works this county, like northern counties by Raleigh, Durham, that area. Guy's freaking amazing. And he took drone photos and stuff like that for us and everything. The guy's awesome.
He did it same day, right? You asked him and he's like, yeah, I'll head out there now.
Yep. Literally same day. He's like, oh, I'm around the corner. No problem. I'll go there right now. Yeah.
It's awesome. Okay. So tell me, where would you want to split the lot at?
I think where the driveway is.
Here?
Yeah, so the little hatchet would be the one we sell off, and we keep the square.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then so that other line. So I'm thinking, yeah, you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Try to sell it to the neighbor.
Either
And
sell it to
back
the
up,
neighbor, just whatever I could do to get my cost basis up back, and then just hold the property. So if I get a free property, essentially,
Okay. So let's go look at it. How big is this property? 17 acres?
18 acres.
18 acres. Okay.
Yeah. So the left side, you see the white side, the white kind of roadish thing. If you look at it,
On the
furthest
property?
next to Cynthia Jenkins. Yeah, it's like all the way to the edge. That's the driveway.
Yeah.
That's the driveway. The left side is a power line easement.
This right here.
So
Gotcha.
that's what feeds her property power.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't mind that as much as I mind the driveway cutting through the property.
Okay. So you would need, this is interesting. Yeah. Um,
What are you kind
Yeah,
of
really?
looking at, Sumner, like when you're on Realtor for this? Like, is this not something I would think like you're pulling up the GIS or something like that?
What? Sorry, say it again.
I said, is like, what are you trying to do on Realtor here? Are you just trying to comp stuff out as far as those slices, or are you
On
trying to
Redfin?
make it actually
Yeah,
possible?
on Redfin.
Yeah. On Redfin, I'm just trying to get a gist of like, what is this thing worth as is? What would this be worth if we subdivided it? So just trying to see before we get into the nitty gritty of subdividing it, trying to get this picture like, is the juice even worth the squeeze? Most times it is, but not always. There are cases where it's not. So how much are you buying this for?
31. So it's about 1,700 an acre. And I talked to Chase, the realtor, and he said he just sold clear-cut timber land in this county that had no road access for $3,000 an acre.
Yeah.
So
was
he's
it
like,
this one right here? I think this is at 3,000 an acre. This might be it.
that's what he just sold. Who's the realtor on there? Is it Chase Farello? Mossy Oak?
Listed by Kyle from Mass Realty. No.
Okay. I wonder if he was the buy side.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just said it was like clear-cut pine.
No, buy side was John Reese. So I don't know, but this is at 3K an acre. This looks like some kind of timber setup right here as well.
Yeah.
Oh, 3K an acre. This is at 55 acres. So I think our property is a little bit nicer too. Might be able to squeeze a little bit more from it. So this is an interesting comp here. This is at 11 acres at 6K an acre. Same style, super densely wooded. This has got nice road frontage. 11 acres, hunting property, road frontage, hardwoods. Has already been perked, and this sold in like a little over a month.
Nice.
That seems pretty reliable. So here's one at 5,500 an acre. This has got like a weird easement road. So this is a really
Good
interesting comparable. Yeah, our property's still nicer, but 5,500 an acre. So, and this sold December 14th to February 20th. So pretty quick turn. Okay, cool. So let's think about it. You're buying this at 30. Definitely a deal at 30. Buying it at 30. So we're paying 1,500 an acre. Yeah, I would say so. I would divide this before White Street. So like kind of this lot line here, divide it like that. And then this lot over here, kind of this hatchet style, they can take this as the access route here. So you're going to hold this one or sell this one?
So I'd like to keep. I was actually thinking about dividing it not at the power line easement, but at the road. So cut it out from the road. So that would add like another 1.5 acres, 2 acres that I keep. So I would keep the west side and I would sell the east side.
It might get kind of weird though if you cut it down the road, because they're going to need you'd have to grant. I mean, you're going to have to put like some kind of boundaries or something like that. It'd be very easy for them to drive onto this property. You know what I mean?
Well, this road goes down and then goes to the east and then wraps around. Yeah.
Yeah, but let's say you divided it here at White Street. When they come in, technically they're going to be on that lot line. So just as a technicality, I think that might be kind of weird. Even though they're going to hook east.
Yeah.
I think I would divide it at this line here. And that also you might have problems subdividing like along this like power line easement. I don't know, it might be kind of weird. I don't know. That might not cause any problems. Hard to say, but I think it would make more sense to divide it before the power line easement, divide it here, and then this will be unchanged. We'll still have to grant an easement for her through here. I don't know if that
Mhm.
is already in place. Probably not, since she owns this property.
Yeah.
And then you're going to keep this one in the back. So let's just, spitball in here. Let's say this is 5 acres. This is 15 acres in the back.
Hmm.
The 15 acres, I think we could get reliably, let's go 15, reliably probably 4,500 an acre. So it's 67.5. So you double your money. Then you've got this
And
really nice property here that's probably worth, I don't know, something similar. So, this is a really nice deal, no matter how you slice it. Now, I think most people in this position, if they're new to the business and they're starting with 10 grand, would say, dude, you've got a deal where you can take 30 and turn it into 120 and make 90. So talk to them why you want to keep this piece and what you're actually going to do with that piece beyond just the land banking appreciation side.
sure. So the thing I like to do is I want to hold an asset that I have no debt on, like no personal debt, no bank debt, nothing, so that I could actually take private money lenders and secure them on this asset.
Mhm.
So let's say that asset, this property, this 5-acre parcel, whatever it is valued at, let's say, $60,000, right? I could secure $45,000 of private money debt at like 10%, 12%, 14% for the year. Okay. And then take that $45,000 and go and flip like 5 or 6 properties with that $45,000 and just do that a couple times. Instead of me paying private money lenders each deal, I just secure them once on a piece of property, and then I go and take that debt and whatever. So
And you get to
essentially
hold this asset for the long term too.
for a long
So
term.
we
Exactly.
follow back up 10 years from now. You've
Yep.
used it as collateral and you still get to hold the thing. Dennis and I were talking about this last night, and it's like, I don't know if anyone here is familiar with like the Burr strategy, but it's
Yeah.
almost like a Burr strategy for
Yeah.
land. We're not refinancing the property, but we are getting financing against it to fuel our acquisitions.
Mhm.
Really cool playbook. I've never heard of someone doing this. Really, really interesting playbook. Now, not every property that comes into your pipeline is going to make sense for an asset that you want to hold for 10 years. Farmland, I'm pretty sure, is historically the best risk-adjusted return, or at least
Mhm.
like in the last couple of decades,
Yeah.
which that's interesting. But there's some properties that just wouldn't make sense for land banking.
No.
A deal like this screams land banking. You're in North Carolina, already a hot state. You've got Raleigh down here, so you're a little bit north. You're by the border of Virginia, Roanoke over here. All these little towns that I've never heard of down here, Fayetteville. We're smack dab in the town, essentially. We're like one of the last big lots in the town. We've got really close proximity to the major interstate. These utilities over here already all developed. And so we're like one of the few properties that's undeveloped. And we've got the timber value. Now, what I know about timber, though, I don't know much. I don't think most logging companies would come and log 5 acres of timber. Like, it's just not
No.
enough scale for it to make sense for them to come in. So I don't really know what that would do in terms of value.
No, what would happen though is, since she's selling this parcel, because she needs some money to pay back some medical debt, I think, or something like that. So she's only selling off this little parcel to pay for that.
Yeah.
Right. So what I could probably do is, if I keep the timber intact, is the rest of her land she farms for timber. So if I'm like, can you also farm mine and just give me half?
Smart.
So that's kind of my thought with that.
Yeah.
But the main reason, honestly, the main reason why I want to keep this property is I want to keep in good faith with her. Because if she decides to sell any property, I'm the person that kept her parcel and this and that, and I kept in contact with her, and it just builds that long-term rapport, so that the first person she thinks about when she goes to exit, if she doesn't have somebody else like immediate family, is me.
Yep.
Did
That's
she say
really
what
it.
she wanted done? Like what she would ideally like done with that property? I can't remember if you guys talked about that on the call. Like, was she like, I really like having this border, or I like having that it's not
No.
developed or anything like that?
No, I don't remember actually if she talked about that. That's a good question. I might have to go back and review that call. It's another important thing of why we record all our calls. So like these little things, we go back and look at them. Yeah, that's a really interesting tidbit. I'll have to check at that. So,
Especially if we're land banking it, if we kind of align with what she is wanting. Obviously, she's not the ultimate decision maker, but to foster that relationship,
yeah.
wondering what her thoughts are.
So, Dennis, I think there's a good question in the chat from Gage. He says, first off, let's flip some land, baby. agree. But then he says, who's going to want to secure their money with land? So here's my thought. I think plenty of people would. I mean, I've experienced it, whether it's against a note portfolio or just against a piece of land like this. The person's going to have to be savvy. So like you walk up to a bank, I don't think they're going to be like, oh yeah, for sure. Unless it's, I mean, if you've got thousands of acres of farmland, I'm sure they would. But some podunk little 5-acre in Warrenton, North Carolina, probably not. But I think there's plenty of savvy folks that would. If you're going to show them how, hey, there's equity in this deal, you're going to lend at whatever discount rate to the property, and you pay them 12, 14% annually. I think there's plenty of folks that would take that on. Now, land is still very much kind of like this emerging niche, this emerging asset class. There's a lot of folks that think lending on land is stupid. Banks still kind of think it's stupid. So, I mean, it's not everyone, but I think there's plenty of folks out there that would. It's kind of a no-brainer. If you underwrite the deal, it's like, well, why would you not? The question is, it's super illiquid, right? So, but if they lend at a healthy discount and they had to take the property back, they're going to make their return plus potentially some and get their basis back. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, that is my thought too. And like this parcel maybe doesn't lend to, like, isn't the best parcel to use for land banking. I mean, if it was like the full 18 acres with no easement or something like that, I think it's a prime property for that. Though it is, if we subdivide it, it's a little small to do it. So, but I think people will, like, I've talked to other private money lenders, and their main thing is they want to make sure their funds are secured. And what's that?
I was just going to say, well, think about how many people lend on an unsecured promissory note.
I know.
So you secure the promissory note with a quality asset where there's comps to support it. It's like, why would they not?
And not only that, but it's a first position loan.
Yeah.
So if you guys don't know, like there's first position, second position, and whatever, how many other positions. A first position loan is the best position. That's where banks want to be. Why? Because if anything happens, they take the asset back. Second position loans can get wiped out. And nobody pays like 12% debt at first position. It's very rare to find. So securing debt on a piece of land that has good value is definitely, I think, a no-brainer. I mean, I talked to lenders too, and I told them, they're like, yeah, we just want to be secured against an asset. That's all they care about. And if I'm securing, let's say it's $100,000 property, and I'm borrowing $50,000 from a person, and I'm securing it to a property that has a value of $100,000, they know even if I mess up, they're going to get their money back, their 14% plus some, even when they list it with the realtor that's going to sell it.
Yeah, I think as long as you can create a case that supports that, I think you're going to be fine. The caveat, though, is if I take a 40-acre in the middle of nowhere, Arizona, where there's no data to support its value, I think that's where it becomes unlikely. A deal like this, where there's dozens of comps in a city or a town, rather, outside of a major metro, they'd be foolish not to. I think there's plenty of people that would. I mean, I think just the fact that people would lend on an unsecured promissory note at 15%, 14%. It's like, yeah, this becomes even sweeter when we throw on the land on top of it. I've also thought too, I'm curious to get your thoughts on this. This is less of like a land banking framework. I know there's like the whole hypothecation stuff that we were talking about with Eric before. But what if you also just had a big owner finance portfolio? Couldn't you use that as collateral for a secured promissory note as well? So it's like the same playbook. Yeah. If you don't want to hypothecate. I mean, you could. I don't. There's really, who cares? It's not like it's a huge difference to hypothecate or get lending against it. But I think typically the hypothecation on like land contracts, like contract for deeds, is really, really low. Like the discount rate is like pretty aggressive. Like they might lend like 50% of its value for 12 months of payment or something like that. But I think you get pretty good lending. I think the play is, though, with stuff like this, in my opinion, like when it comes to lending for land, what I've learned is like going to other land investors or real estate investors can be troubling. Sometimes folks that just have money and aren't super savvy in this industry, you can explain it to them. They don't have all these jaded worldviews about land. Real estate investors think land is stupid. There's no value. It's illiquid. No one wants to buy it. And then land investors know how great this opportunity is, and they want crazy terms. So it's like, go to a land investor, they're going to want 50% equity. Go to a real estate investor, they're going to laugh you out of the room because land's stupid. But if you go to like someone who's getting 9% in the stock market, they're like, oh shit, I get collateral. There's equity in the deal, and you're going to pay me 15%. No brainer.
Yeah. I just raised a bunch of capital for the deals we have upcoming. And I just told them, I said, hey, look, I'm going to put you in first position. And basically, worst case scenario, you own an asset that is worth 50% of the market.
Yep.
And they were like, yeah, that's fine. I'll do it all day.
Yep.
And I was like, I'll pay you, 12, depending on the deal, anywhere between 12 and 14% per turn. So like if it's under 25,000, we're 12% to 14% per turn, 10% for about 50,000, and then 100,000 is about like 8 to 10%, right? That's kind of what we're shooting for. And everybody I've talked to was like, dude, those are great numbers. And how many turns can you do a year? 4 or 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do
And
that all the time.
it's not a crazy entry. So
No.
it's backed by an asset. It's a lower entry. You can probably get maybe somebody on the newer end of lending as a trial. And then once we get them in, it's like, as long as we're showing you we're doing what we're saying, why would you leave?
Yeah.
And if anyone's here and they say, holy shit, that sounds amazing, Sumner@landinvestor.co. Send me an email. We could talk further. All right. Let's talk about what else is cooking. What do you guys need help with? How can we take you guys from that 100K up to $250,000, $500,000? What do we need to do to get you there? What are the roadblocks currently?
So that was the one question with that one property. I think we had, I do have the other property. It's a 80-acre parcel.
Yep.
That we're going to be,
Should we get them on the horn?
No, he said July 6th. Okay. So with him, actually, do you want me to call this guy Arthur Choate?
Yeah. What's this deal?
I don't know. It just came in right now while we were on the call.
Can you put the APN in the private chat?
Yep.
I got it.
You got it, Rob?
Yeah.
I got to look it up myself too.
Okay.
It looks like it's an 18-acre parcel in.
Well, Dennis, you know the play. Let's call blind. I'll get it pulled up in the background. I'll put some notes in the chat, but let's call blind. Let's take our own medicine.
I love this stuff. This is what I do all the time.
So what we're doing here, guys, is we are putting you through a real world kind of mock scenario. Lead comes in, no context, no understanding of value. You got to get on the horn, piece it together. Sometimes this is how it goes, right? Sometimes this is how it goes. Whether if you don't have Pat Live and leads are just calling your phone directly, you'll have this happen all the time. Or sometimes you just you need to get to the lead quick and you don't have the info. And I think really too, one of the exercises that I think is important from this, it also shows you how to work with limited information, which you're always going to have. Even if you've done DD on the deal, you'll still get caught with your pants down from time to time. It's like, okay, how do you recover from that? How do you rebound from that? It's a really cool exercise to go through. Is this what county is this, Rob?
Seminole, Oklahoma.
Okay. All right, I'll share my screen for everyone here. We can take a look-see and we'll dial them. Hey, do you want to make sure, just to be safe, that this gentleman is an Okie himself for the
I'm checking now.
One-sided thing?
Yep.
Okay.
Sumner, what info do you want? I dropped the APN in the side.
No, you're good. I'm gonna pull it up for everyone.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he's an Okie.
All right.
His brother owns the property right next door.
I was going to say, yeah, we might have a twofer here. This one's got like a little driveway cut in, flood zone running through this one. Not super duper severe by any means. This is probably
I have to learn how you use data trade, because you're like way better at it than I am.
Yeah, seriously.
Comes a time. This is like an AE flood zone, and I would assume it's like 100-year flood zone. Nothing too crazy, I wouldn't think. I don't know. This is probably a private road here or an oil and gas road. If this was a county road, we could just subdivide off that. Unfortunately, I don't think that's the case. So we'd have to subdivide off this road. See if we can drop a pin ski and take a look at the property. So always cool when you have these bigger acreage lots and there's like development like near it. I always like seeing that. Means there's probably utilities in place. Okay, so this is super, super overgrown. You got power on the lot line though, right there. And then here's that private looking road, which I don't think we could use that. We could look into it and see. But
it looks like it's a private road to get back to the property behind it.
And there might be an easement in place. I mean, he might be able to use it. It doesn't even look like there's an entrance to this property though. And you got like this kind of culvert down here. So actually getting on the property might be a little tricky. Here's that stream. So this is that flood zone. You can actually see this little creek, very minor running through it. And then his brother's property, I think, has a driveway. I think it's somewhere down yonder. Is it
it does have a driveway.
I think this might be the brother's property.
Ooh, I like the brother's property.
Your brother's property is definitely a little bit nicer. Look, the brother's property's got a gate on it and a driveway.
And brother said he may be interested to sell it as well. That we mailed him as well.
Cool.
The brother?
Yeah, Mr. Choate stated he needed clarification as to which of his properties is of interest. He stated his brother owns property that is adjoining, and he may be interested in selling his property as well. Stated his brother's name is Ken, and he's also received mailers from us.
Did you call him Mr. Chode?
Close.
Rob.
No big
Dennis
deal.
is talking about killing some sellers. Rob's just insulting their manhood.
That's why Dennis is on the phone. He doesn't
You
call
guys
him
are savage.
Chode.
Hey, Mr.
Hey,
Chode.
Mr. Chode.
Yeah, this is Rob.
It's Dr. Chode. Okay, guys.
This is a 20 piece, yeah?
18.
18s, yeah.
18. What was the price listed in the contract?
30, 44 we offered?
44.5 is what I'm seeing.
Yep, you're right. 44.5.
44.5.
44.
Here's a 27 at 80. Let's just see. It's a little further east, but not too far away. So look at 80 divided by 27. It's about 3K an acre. So multiply that by 18. This is at like 53 off of that underwriting. This was February of this year. It wasn't that long ago. So I think the play would probably just be a lot split on this if we can. I think we got enough road frontage just to slice it down the middle.
Okay.
40. I don't know. I'd have to see. We might be able to get 40 a piece if we take it down the middle. There's really like no comps out here.
Yeah, this is the one disparity about. No, I'm going to call him right now. We were talking too much. There was the one downside to mailing a whole county is sometimes you get areas without a lot of comps, but it is like the pricing is pretty homogenous in the whole area. So that's kind of why I did that.
So here's a 10 at 50 that's like northwest. So it's off of a major interstate. But this is an interesting comp. 10 wooded, electrics on property. And this sold April to May. So sold in like a couple weeks. That's a pretty good comp. I think we'll run with that. So we'll say we could sell a 9 acre at like 45 or something.
So what are we saying MAO is?
Depends on how
Probably
we could
as
fund
is?
it. Depends on how we could fund it. I mean, I think you guys are pretty close to that MAO. I think maybe if we take it down the middle, we could get 100 in total. There's also like we got to factor in the flood zone as well.
And
this
I think
also too. This property is going to be like, I mean, as it stands right now, almost impossible to access. So we got to take that into consideration too. This property here, this one, we could probably bump her offer up. I mean, I wouldn't be scared to pay 55 or 60 for this. This is a really nice lot.
So maybe if you pay 44 for both, at least the one, you know, if you compare the two, your cost basis is about the same.
Yeah, and that's out to make sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's give him a ring. I'm gonna go grab some water. I'll be right back.
You think?
Go get him.
Your call has been forwarded. Your call is
Hello?
Hey, Arthur, this is Dennis with Cash for Land. Just returning your call. I think you gave us a ring before about your property over there in Oklahoma.
Yeah, I called you, I don't know, a couple of hours ago.
Oh, great. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to return that call and just gather some information. Can you tell me a little bit about the property? What you got going on?
Well, it's just something that we were looking to sell to try to consolidate our holdings. We're getting older,
Mm.
and it's 18 acres.
Okay.
It sits on a major, not a major, but a highway,
Mm-hmm.
a state highway,
Okay.
and has no buildings on it.
Perfect.
It's highly wooded.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Okay.
That's about all I can think of.
Okay. When you say getting older, what are you like 35, 36 now?
Yeah, really close to that. 79.
Get the heck out of here. Really? Come on, man. You're kidding me. That's crazy. Don't sound it at all. Awesome. I mean, I'm taking a look at the property now. So it also says your brother might be interested in selling too.
Yes,
Okay.
he owns. Are you looking at it on your computer?
Yeah. Yep.
He owns the 18 acres directly north.
Oh, okay.
Of that.
Kenneth that's his name, or that's what's on title, I guess.
He has a little more clearing than I had. If you'll notice that.
Yeah. Yeah, I did notice that he's got like a little bit of a clearing, a little driveway, and stuff like that.
Yes, there is a gate and a little driveway to that. Yes, there is.
Okay. Cool. So, and do you know the story behind the two pieces of access that go behind you? I guess it looks like there's like a parcel, like little strip was sold for the neighbors to access you on both sides. One for you and one for your brother.
Well, we just have 36 acres. Okay.
Okay.
We have 18 each.
Sure.
Many years ago, and I guess it shows it through our abstract, that Grandpa had sold 3 acres to I guess a friend.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, probably in the 40s.
Okay.
And Dad, my father sold an acre, which is on the south side of the property.
Sure.
He sold an acre to his sister, so she'd have access, ownership to her house. So that 4 acres comes off of the 40 acres. So there's only 36 that we own.
Okay.
18 each.
Makes sense. So those are just like deeded access, or they actually sold the parcel to them. Cool. So that was smart. So what was that? Your grandfather or your dad owned all this land and they chopped it up?
My grandfather, Dad's father, owned 40 acres to the back.
Mm-hmm.
And then he owned the 40 acres by the highway, and my dad and his sister got that front side, or the highway side, and then Dad bought his sister out, so he had a total of 36 acres. Then Dad deeded me and my brother 18 each.
Oh, nice. Okay. What'd you guys use it for?
Say again?
What'd you guys use it for?
Nothing.
Oh, I love it.
My uncle had put some paper shell pecan trees on it.
Okay.
And I don't know if you know anything about pecan trees, but he grafted them and made paper shell. And,
okay.
We did go on that property and pick up pecans for a few years, but eventually it just sort of growed up.
Okay. Are there still pecans on there? Pecan trees on there?
Well, if you could find them, I'm telling you, my side especially is really wooded. It's a pristine wooded area.
Yeah. Yeah, I that's awesome. I love it. Do you do any hunting or not really on there?
Well, I let a friend hunt on it.
Oh, cool. Okay. Nice. Yeah, it looks like a perfect property for that. It's got looks like it's got a little stream that runs through it and stuff.
Well, yeah, sort of. Yes, there is a little stream that runs on it.
Okay. Cool. All right, cool. And you said you guys have a couple parcels. Is this the only stuff you're looking to sell, or?
That's all I'm going to sell. Yes.
Okay.
I have others in another county, but the wife has ownership of that.
Gotcha. You wait till you hit your 40s to sell that one.
Well,
There could be 80, but we hadn't got that far yet.
Gotcha. No, okay. Cool. All right, cool. I mean, everything looks pretty good. It looks like there is like a little bit of kind of like a slight flood zone. I don't know is that true? Like some kind of like is it flood any there? Not really.
That creek gets some water in it.
Okay.
But I've been by it or lived on. Not lived on it, but drove by it for 70 years, and I've never known it to do anything. But that creek does get water in it. Yes.
Cool. Okay. Do you know if you guys ever looked into like building on it or anything like that, or it just kind of was always just there?
Me and the wife at one time had cleared a spot to put a house on. That probably 30 years ago, and we never did. No.
Okay. Cool. So as far as like perk test or anything like that, that was never like really.
So there's no water well on it, or
Sure.
There's electric access cut there to the highway, but there's no
Cool.
water well on it. No.
Cool. Okay. Wow. I mean, everything seems like it fits what we're looking for. Yeah. I mean, to us, it looks pretty good. If you and your brother are interested in selling, I think we could contract at the price we offer.
Well, to give you a, and I can give you the telephone number if you want it, but
Yeah, sure.
there is a title company that in Oklahoma that has that information. If you're interested in calling them and discussing it with them, because they've already researched the title and everything, it's supposedly ready to go.
Oh, that's even easier. So
Would you like to put their number?
Yeah, well, you know what? What we could do is, I mean, if you guys are ready to go, I'll send the contract over to you guys, and then we could get it signed. And then once we get it signed, I'll just open it up with that title company, and just life is easy. That's awesome.
Well, she said she could have everything ready to go in 30 minutes.
I like her. Can we use her more often?
But she's in Oklahoma City.
Okay. Is it Oklahoma friendly title?
The name of the company is Oklahoma Secure Title.
Secure Title. Okay, I think I've heard of them before. Okay, so that's even easier if you guys already have a relationship. Have you guys tried selling in the past? Is that why you guys did the title search?
Well, yes, and no. we just trying to get our due diligence together so we could do it fast and properly.
Wow, very savvy. So you guys have, it's definitely been on your mind for a little while, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. What's now? Why now all of a sudden? Did I just catch you at the right time with the letter? Is that what happened?
Well, I don't know. We both got our abstracts brought up to date. I don't know, 3 months ago, and we just started thinking about selling it.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. All right. I mean, everything sounds like it checks out. I mean, do I have to talk to your brother too, or you're handling it for both of us, both of them?
Well, of course, it wouldn't hurt at all to call him, but we're sort of working together. If you have his address, if you want us, you're wanting to sell us you want to mail us a sales contract? Is that what you want to do?
I got two options for you. I could do a email contract, which is pretty easy, and that just starts the process. We just send that over, you guys sign it, and then we can send it the title and just back check our stuff and make sure everything's good to go, which you're already saying it is, which makes life even easier.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I want you to know that.
Yeah, no, that's lovely, actually. So if you have an email address, I would need one for you to send a contract to, and then one for your brother.
I don't have, and my brother has trouble.
Don't even stress it then.
His email, and we'd prefer mail.
Okay, actually, I have one better for you. I have a lady. Her name is Cynthia. She'll drive right up to your front door and get sign the contract right with you.
What?
Yeah. So she does. She'll meet you even to Starbucks or whatever you want to meet at. She's it's called Mobile Notary, and they drive right up to you with the contract in hand and say, "Here's everything. You just sign." And then once the contract's signed,
You mean to my house?
Your house or wherever you feel like it. Yeah.
Good gracious, she lives in Oklahoma. Then I'm assuming.
She does. She lives in Shawnee.
Shawnee's only 15 miles from my house.
She'll be loving you then, because she'll drive all over Oklahoma. So
My brother's in Bartlesville, about 100 miles away.
okay, she goes there too. That's not a big deal. She covered. I actually talked to her. I'm like, where do you cover? And she goes, I go all over Oklahoma.
Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and tell you to make that out and have her to wait and have her to come. But I'll need to talk to my brother to make sure that's okay with him also.
Yeah. Do you want me to actually just give him a call and just let him know that we had this conversation? I honestly, it'd be great if we could all talk together.
Okay,
it's up to you.
I'm okay with sending me the contract or her bringing it. But his number is
Sure.
my goodness, is 918
Okay.
331
Okay.
7889.
Perfect. And his name is
Ken.
Ken Choate. Okay, perfect. Do you actually would you like to give him a ring first and just tell him that Dennis is calling from a 973 number and all that stuff? And then this way we know what's going on. And then once I give him a call, he's already a little warmed up for me.
I'll get on that right now.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Arthur, thank you. I really appreciate it. As far as this goes, do you want me to sorry.
That don't mean he'll answer me, but I'll call him right away.
Yeah, no worries at all. That's all good with me. So if you want, do you want me to get Cynthia to call you and then set up a time? It's up to you.
Yes.
Okay, this way you guys can, instead of doing a third party, she'll just tell you, hey, I'm available these times. You say, okay, I'm available these times. She'll sign it and then she'll email it right to me.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, have her to call and we'll meet.
Great. I will get her on the horn,
Okay.
and then by hopefully maybe tonight she'll call you, if not tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you much.
Great. Awesome. Thanks, Arthur.
Bye.
All righty. Bye now. Woohoo!
Oh. Oh boy. Oh
We're
boy.
working up some one-call closer nicknames in the chat.
Oh my God, that's funny. We
Good
just
stuff.
got that lead. We just got that lead today, like an hour ago.
Boom. Let's talk about it. So we're locking up 2.
Yes.
Sounds like same contract price, 44 each, right? So 98K. I think that's a net 200K. So it's got to be 100K profit on that.
What the hell is going
Damn.
on, Dennis?
I told you guys. Remember what I said? Just listen to me. Copy everything I'm doing.
We keep
Yes, Sensei.
never stop. We keep going like, oh, we could still maybe we could tweak. No, stop.
Yeah.
The other one always
Copy.
does it. Just stop trying to be cute.
I know.
I always tell people, your first 12 to 24 months, there's no room to be cute. You copy exactly what I do.
Yeah.
There's a dictatorship for those first 12 to 24 months. And then you iterate. You kind of come up with your own flavor. But when you start, yeah,
This program has been so amazing having one-on-ones with you to like answer the questions that pop up. Like I can't thank you enough for like setting this up. This is really cool.
Of course, man. I don't know if you heard the news. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna turn this into like a year plus essentially case study. And so we're gonna continue to meet once a month, last Friday of each month for the next year. And so we're going to document this whole process as it unfolds. I think we're already at theoretically with those 2 deals at 200K from your first batch of mailers.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that we could turn you guys into like a 7-figure case study and document A to Z that whole process unfolding. And what's really cool that what we're going to do is that on Wednesdays, Dennis is going to be coming onto the YouTube channel and going through KPIs, giving you guys a breakdown of what's going on in his business. It's going to be a tell-all. It's just like, here you go, right? Now, if you guys want the 90-day, you guys want the actual play-by-play training, because really on those calls, what we're going to be doing is more sharing what's happening. It's not going to be teaching. It's going to be more sharing. You'll glean insights from that. But if you guys want the actual tactics that we use to get here, I put the link in the chat previously. You guys can see it right there. you guys can get discount at 50%. And then the program goes live in 4 weeks. Frankly, like the LIA program is hey, this is the skill of land investing. Hey, this is how you build a business on top of that. This here is just how do you master that skill? We're not talking about business building. We're talking about how do we ramp you up as fast as possible. And you guys are literally seeing this play out, right? There's nothing, I didn't do anything special here. Rob and Dennis are great, but they didn't do anything special. We just mimicked the playbook, right?
Yeah.
And so for $897, probably the best investment you'll make into education in the coming months, or maybe all year, or maybe frankly to change your life. Would you say that these last 9 weeks have been life changing? Yes or no?
For
Yeah.
sure. Yes.
Absolutely.
I mean,
We added. We haven't closed on these deals yet, but I just want people to realize like the possibilities. This isn't even all of the mail we sent. This is a third of the mail that we were supposed to send for our $10,000 budget. And we already have about 200 grand in pipeline in actual net profit, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's
crazy. That's after all costs, right? Realtor commission, closing costs, all that jazz, marketing costs, obviously.
I think another great thing too is that like Dennis is a visionary. I'm an integrator. We asked a lot of questions from both sides of the brain, I feel like.
Yeah.
So when you go through this course, you're going to have all the angles covered, and you're going to hear a lot of questions from us because we really did come in here not knowing jack about land and baby stepped through it. And it really, we were supposed to go for what, like 45 minutes to an hour per call. We ended up doing like closer to an hour and a half, 2 hours every time. Like
sometimes 3.
Like we hammered Sumner with questions and pulled as much out of him as we could. So
I just want you guys to realize this too. Like this lead came in at 5:15 today, and at 6:38, it's under where we're going to be signing a contract for it. Crazy.
Yeah, super crazy.
Sorry, just had to say that. It's like I'm like baffled right now.
Yeah. I think too, and dude, it's so cool. We documented this. Like you guys, there's no magic behind the curtains. You guys are literally watching this play out. What day is this for the ninth? So, good question, John. We are on the 9th week. So this is the 9th week. So we're 9 weeks in working together, and this is what we've created. And we started with 10 grand, but we've only spent 48. So only 4,800 out of the 10 grand. We've got more mail in the pipeline. We're going to talk about that here in a second. But like, how many folks have started this business with $4,800 and gotten a big fat goose egg, right?
Look at
every single month we get people that schedule calls with Justin and the team and say, I've spent 25 grand on marketing. I've got nothing. I spent 50 grand on marketing. Andy Barlow spent, I think, like 40 grand on marketing, got no deals. What was it, like 8 months? Joined LIA. And then he joined LIA in the end of January, April, 30K month in June. It's like this game is not just follow the steps, like, oh, send out some mail, get a deal, good things will happen. There's a qualitative standpoint to this too. Like there's a quantitative side where it's like, yeah, you got to hit the metrics. There's got to be activity, but there's also very much a qualitative thing to what we do here. And so there's this weird, there's a lot of guys in this business. I'm just going to be real here. We need more girls in the land business. But what happens with all these guys in this business, and I say this because I was this way, their ego gets in the way. I can figure it out. I've done this in other businesses. I'm a real estate investor. I know this. I can do it. And then they just spin their wheels, sometimes lose money, sometimes make money, but then that's 6 months in and they don't know what to do next, right? It's like, take a step back, admit that you probably don't know as much as you think you do about land, get a solid foundation for your education, compound your results faster, and avoid these little minefields, right? There are certain minefields in this game that will just take you out, full stop. Like that example I gave, one of the guys that got on a call with Justin back in February was in the whole 100 grand, no deals. What would that feel like? It's like, I think most of us would just throw in the towel. I would say, I'm fucking done. This business sucks. Do we hear from time to time? Do we hear from time to time when people get on calls with Justin? They're like, yeah, land business is too competitive, or I tried it. It doesn't work. It's a scam. I'm like, okay, it's not a scam. Myself and hundreds of others have lived off the income from land for a long time. And it's so much not a scam that I'm going to show you in real time how this works and take two beginners and take them 0 to hero. It's not it's a qualitative issue. You just don't have the right playbook to go off of.
And the other thing, just
John,
so
looking to
everybody
make offers next week, 2 weeks into mailing. Nice, man. How much mail have you sent? You can let us know in the chat.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
And
Also,
the
I'm
other
curious,
thing, John, we do blind offers too, just so everybody knows. There's 3 schools of thought. There's blind offers. There's like neutral letters.
Yep.
I mean, I'm sorry. There's neutral letters, which are basically like, hey, I want to buy your property. Then there's range, which is like, hey, I could pay between X and Y for your property. And then blind offers, meaning I'm sending you a price. This is what I'll pay for your property. So I know those leads that are calling me are motivated because they saw the price, and I have all my cards out. I'm like, here, my cards are right down. You're looking at them. This is what I'll pay for your property.
Yep.
So if they're calling me and saying like they want to sell, that's because most likely they like my price. That's why a one call close is very easy.
Yep.
Yeah, it's reasonable. Well, then think about it like this. Like we talked about at the beginning of this call, you guys are allocating 2 to 3 hours a day to this business, right? You guys have jobs, other businesses. This isn't like a full-time gig. And so when you're coming in as a new land investor, odds are you've got a job, you've got another business. You're not putting in 40 or 60 hours a week to this business. So what do we need to do? We need to filter the leads. We need a way to pre-qualify those leads. So when you get on the phone, you just do what Dennis just did, right? This is why I hate when people come into this business, they start sending neutral letters or they start texting and they get 300 leads in a month. They get 0 deals from it because they can't go and pre-qualify quick enough and get to the root of it. Dude, Andy Barlow sent out 40,000 neutral letters, 40,000 letters and got no deals. And he couldn't weed through it. It's too much, right? We sent 6,500 letters. We got 20 leads. It's been super manageable. It's not just about that number of leads. It's about the quality of those leads, right? And then you also have enough time to go and work them properly. You can break your land business early on by sending too much marketing, by getting too much marketing out there, because the leads are going to get treated inappropriately, right? And so I when you're starting, it's like blind offers are non-negotiable. Think about blind offers as like your little salespeople, your little soldiers going out there for you, pre-qualifying the lead, and then the ones that come in, boom, about 80% of them will be pre-qualified, vetted, good to go. Doesn't mean that you're going to end up on just that price, but you're within the range of being reasonable.
Yeah. Just a couple things from my end. The LIA Group has been so amazing. Like every time, I think a lot of people can get hung up. Like I don't feel nearly as good comping deals still as say Dennis does, or obviously you, Sumner. So there's some, comfortability with knowing that you just looked at and you're like, okay, that looks like we could sell that for $200K and trust that. When we get those and we don't have you like on the line, we bring it to the LIA Group, and the LIA Group comps our deals with us and gives us thoughts and everything like that. They helped us design our mailer. We crowdsourced our mailer.
You did crowdsource your mailer. Dude, I know everyone in there crowdsources the best title company, crowdsources realtors, crowdsources their mailer. We had a guy earlier crowdsource his logo. I mean, it's like just that sharing crowdsourcing aspect is so cool. But also what I really like, dude, is sometimes learning from me can actually be a detriment, right? And think about it like this. If I wanted to go learn basketball, do I want to learn from Michael Jordan, or do I want to learn from someone who's been practicing really hard and is one step ahead of me, right? And so you get this totality of all these different people at different levels inside the LIA Group. Someone who just went through that problem last week. I think their information or their answer actually might be more relevant than mine when I went through that 4 years ago, And so to be able to get those different perspectives is really, really helpful. And frankly, I learn a ton in the group. That speaks volumes about the fact that you're getting all these different perspectives. And the cool thing about, like, you might be saying, but wouldn't that be overwhelming? Wouldn't you get bad advice? Like in our general public channels, that's kind of a risk, right? You don't know who's who. But actually in the LIA program, it's so highly vetted that it doesn't really pan out to be that way.
I mean,
trying to move out of Chicago ASAP. I hear you, man. You got to move to California, Hawaii, or Nevada. Maybe get somewhere with 0 state income tax. So forget California, actually, and forget Hawaii.
One more thing. Pat Live is a freaking
game. My God.
My God.
Yeah.
Like initially, we were trying to field all the calls and we were trying to chase them down and not getting enough info. We tried to set them. We paid money for like a professionally recorded voicemail. And we're like, people will call and leave their damn info. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I'm gonna put something in the chat for you guys. So that is an affiliate link that we have with Pat Live, but you get 2 things with it. One, you get a 5% discount for life. So discount your plan. No matter if you start at the low plan and go to the high plan, you'll be grandfathered in at a 5% discount. But what's even cooler is you'll actually get our script. So the exact script that we split tested for years at this point you get that. That's what a lot of the LIA members use. The thing with scripting with Pat Live is like that you're trying to, it's this balancing act of, okay, they have to ask enough questions to get relevant info, but not so many questions that we start burning through minutes, because it's a pay for minutes framework, right? And so our average call with that script is about 4 minutes and 30 seconds. And that like checks all the boxes that we need. I see some people that have Pat Live scripts that are like 40 questions long and their average call is 15 minutes. It's like, what? Or people that just ask, like, what's your name? What's your APN? It's like, all right, we want to glean a little more information than that. Pat Live's essential. I don't care if you're day one solo operator. You can maybe wait 30 days until you get it. But once that mail starts hitting, it was one of the most worthwhile expenses in your business. Yes. The fact that you get a full-time 24/7 agent taking your calls,
American-based,
200, American-based, for like $275 a month is just is obscene. There's been a lot of folks that have tried to compete with Pat Live by doing it internally, and you just can't match the pricing. Sorry, what were you going to say, Rob?
So, like, initially, we were doing that where we were like trying to get the calls to come into a voicemail and everything. We just lose people, wouldn't get any info. And then we started with Pat Live, and we're like, oh, they don't record the calls. Like, we'd really like to hear the people. Dude, it's not even needed. We get a text message now and an email with all the info that they've gathered. And 90% of the time, 99% of the time, it's every question got answered. All I do is copy, paste it, throw it in Pebble. We get the number and call them back. Like, super simple.
I think that one of the cool things too about Pebble is they have that lead form that like plugs into Pat Live.
Yeah,
they don't need to do like a Zapier or any kind of integration; just plugs right in.
Yeah.
So this might be kind of relevant for you guys. I think this is always cool, like when we're doing these live calls and our business is just kind of working in the background. So in the last 42 minutes since we've been on this call, my team just locked up a deal that's at 18,500 that we're selling at 45,000, and then we just locked up another deal at 21,000 that we're selling at 45,000. The last 41 minutes. I don't say that to boast in the slightest, but I think it's really cool. I'm sitting here having a call with you guys, shooting the shit, having fun. And because I've built this conveyor belt, right? I've built this assembly line of my business. It works like clockwork. It's just a machine that just keeps on turning. This, to me, this is the sexy side of land investing. Like, land investing is cool because it's profitable and all those things. Yeah, that's exciting. But what I like is the machine that you can build. That's like that's the box we're trying to check inside the LIA program. The Zero to Hero program is not that. Zero to Hero is like, let me show you the skill of land investing so you can go be a badass solo operator and go make a couple $100,000. And then you move into LIA and you say, cool, I've got a couple $100,000. How do I build that conveyor belt? How do I build that assembly line in my business that just works like clockwork? So we just added, call it 40K of pipeline profit in the last 41 minutes shooting the breeze with you guys.
I love that.
Fucking dope. I mean, while Dennis just locked up a 100K profit deal. Dude, seriously. This business is fucking insane. I don't care who wants to poo-poo land. It's absurd. We are so spoiled in this business.
Can I tell you, I've been wholesaling real estate, flipping real estate. I've been flipping houses since 2010, right? I'm very well versed in real estate, doing all this stuff and everything. And I've never been able to lock up a contract with full certainty that I'll be able to sell that contract and double my funds. Never.
Crazy.
It doesn't work like that. If you lock up a deal for, let's say you're locking up a deal for wholesale, what are you going to make? At most, you're like, I can make $30,000 for this. Maybe you can make $30,000 for this deal, right? And it's like, oh my God, this is amazing. But then you have to deal with all the trials and tribulations and the vacancy, they're not leaving, all this stuff. Land is like, you want to sell? Cool. Why don't you use it anymore? I haven't looked at it in 40 years. Okay, cool. I'll buy it and then I'll go list it and make 50 grand, 100 grand. It's like, how?
Crazy.
Why didn't I do this before? So sorry, I'm just paying the
just venting, man. Just venting.
It's crazy.
All right, cool. Let's talk about next steps in your guys' business. What do you guys need help with currently?
Dude, Dennis, do you not think that we're already getting to a point where we should start looking or planning for some kind of lead management?
Probably lead manager. I'm gonna say I'd like to probably hire like a lead manager.
What the hell is a lead manager?
Okay, so a lead manager is somebody, not an acquisitions manager. I want a lead manager, somebody who's following up on leads, checking in, keeping up with them, making sure everything is like good to go, whatever. But they're not really closers, right? Lead manager is the guy that's just making sure everything's touched. So if I say, hey, call this person twice a week, they're calling that person twice a week, right? And then they'll tee them up for the acquisitions manager to close.
But
So
why would you get a lead manager before an acquisition manager?
because a lead manager, see, this is the thing too. I'm so used to doing deals that take a long segue up. Like for houses, it's sometimes 13 touches is your average of 13 touches, right? So sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's 26. Land, it's not like that. So maybe I'm thinking about this wrong. Maybe I don't need a lead manager.
Okay, I'll spit some game here. I'm just going to
Please,
confirm about the deal with the team. Let's do a DC contract, and then we can decide if we want to do a cash close. Okay. All right, let me spit some free game. So building a team inside a land business, in my opinion, is nothing like building a wholesaling team. It's nothing like building a whatever fix and flip team. There might be some roles that have the same name, but they're very different. So I'll give you, before we start talking about the roles in a land business, let me define what is a land business. All right, we got 3 buckets here. We got acquisitions, operations, dispositions. You might still see that in a wholesaling business and a fix flip business. Like they're still going to have those 3 little buckets, but what happens in there is very, very different in a land business. So for where you guys are at, the role that's going to have the most impact for you guys is going to be an acquisition manager, right? You've got Rob as the integrator, so you don't need what we call a generalist VA yet. You might need one soon. A generalist VA would be like, does that Pebble product, does it already come with the integrations? Yes, it does. I'll put that in the chat. I don't know which integrations you're speaking about specifically about Dennis and Rob's, but Dennis and Rob are plugged into the LIA variant of Pebble. So should be same. I don't know if there's anything that you guys have done that's different. I think it's yeah, John, it's the same exact playbook. So that all of our stuff comes pre-populated. Communication templates, contracts, our stages with every task for each stage, all that jazz. The Zapier integration, you don't need a Zapier integration. So that's what's about Pebble.
I brought up Zap when I was talking about it. The only thing I did was from Pat Live, I zapped the form that they filled out into our email. That was all.
Oh, that's different.
It was just to make it easier to copy and paste into the notes.
John. So that's a good point. So that's a different. So Zap's a different service. So unfortunately, we can't kind of marry that into there. Yeah. But the cool thing about Pebble is you actually that's totally tangential. You don't need to do that. Yeah. The cool thing about Pebble is you don't need a Zap. So like when we use Follow Up Boss, for example, what we do is Follow Up Boss can't create lead forms, right? So a lead comes in and it fills out a Google form or a Trello form or a Monday form, whatever the heck form you're using. And then we had to create a Zap to tell that form to create a new record in our CRM. What's dope about Pebble is they have a form builder in there. So you can build a form that's already pre-built for Pat Live. Pat Live fills it out. Boom, it's already in your CRM. Same thing. You can build a landing page inside Pebble and put that on your letter, and then leads can submit on there. So like you don't need to build landing pages. You don't need to create Zaps. Now what Rob did here is a little different. They're just having a Zap go into an email so they get a notification.
We're still growing. So we haven't, and we got honestly bombarded with all these leads. So I haven't set up the form and connected it to Pat Live. We set up Pat Live first, and we had the Google form already made. So we just got to catch up. Just catching up.
You guys moved over to Pebble like a couple weeks ago. Okay, so let's go back to the hiring framework. I'm going to give you guys the sauce. This is literally the LIA hiring framework. Like tell all, we'll just put it out there. So every business is going to be a little bit different. This isn't a one size for every business, but if you're following kind of the LIA business model, which is mid-market, lower volume business, you're using private capital to fund your deals or JV capital, you're going after deals that are 25 to 250K in a list price. That's the general business model, right? Most LIA members do 1 to 5, maybe 7 deals a month at most, but the average deal is netting us. Some folks are at like 22K average per deal. On the low end, they might be like 15K per average per deal. So imagine you make 22K per deal. You do 5 deals a month. It's a 6-figure land business. I like that business model because it's low friction, it's low impact. We don't have a lot of deals turning around. And so we need less operational support. It's just a much easier business to run. So for where you guys are at, the play would be, we're going to bring in an acquisition manager. A good acquisition manager filling up their pipeline, 100 plus leads a month, should bring in about 300K a quarter or 100K a month in pipeline profit. A great acquisition manager could bring in more than that. It also depends on the quality of leads that you're bringing to the table. Typically, an acquisition manager can handle like 150 qualified leads a month. They're going to need to bring on another one. Then I would bring on what we call a generalist VA. Generalist VA is going to do all that minutia in between. They're going to go find the drone photographer, find the realtor, find the title company. They'll be like a mini TC. They'll go and list the property if they have to. They'll do your KPIs. They'll scrub data. They'll just do all that little stuff in between. When you guys go through inside Pebble, I'll just share my screen here. Let me just show you guys. I think this will make more sense if I share my screen. I always tell people, like, to get a land deal done in this business, what most people don't understand is every land deal is going to have like 50 or 60 things that need to get done cradle to grave. So let's say we're looking at this is some of the stages that we've created for the LIA version. Let's say we go in and you see how the due diligence has all these different tasks that have to get completed, right? Those have to get done. These are low value tasks though. So initially, a generalist VA is going to tackle most of these things, right? They're just going to be doing all that little friction stuff in between. Okay. And then what's going to happen is you're going to have that acquisition manager, you're going to have that generalist VA. If we want to grow and we don't want to bring on another acquisition manager, the next hire would be what we call a lead qualifier. It's kind of might be what you're talking about.
Lead manager, yeah.
Think about it's kind of like a setter closer role. Yep. But a lot of times they're not really doing setting. They might have one intro call with the seller just to do a quick pre-qual, but they're not going to do much there. Really what they're going to do is get that lead in a place to where the acquisition manager can come in and say, this is what the property is worth. Here's our range offer. Here's all the due diligence. And we're going to pull that off of the generalist VA's plate. Okay. So that lead qualifier is going to essentially get that lead to the finish line. So all the acquisition manager has to do is pick up the phone, call. You got everything in front of them. They might do a pre-qualification call if you want to. Just depends. Yeah. So with that framework right there, that little team, if you're using realtors, it's 500 to maybe 1.2 million a year you could build just off of that team right there. Really, when I think about roles, I think about every single role has a point of the highest leverage. Every single role has one task that really brings in the bacon. For an acquisition manager, it's talk time. It's talking to leads, and it's the number of offers they can make, right? It's not about how many calls do they make. None of that. I want as much time on the phone, and I want to get as many offers as we can out there. Anything that's not that is going to derail them from their performance. What I see a lot of people do is they create this team that starts to cannibalize itself. Like one of our one-on-one coaching students, I had a call with her yesterday. She's got 2 people on her team, and they've got roles that are like dispo roles, operation roles, acquisition roles, all on their plate. And so what happens is they start to cannibalize each other, right? Like they become the bottleneck and everything starts to suffer because of it. So you need to create really clear roles and not have overlap. I would rather temporarily have a bump in payroll because that bump in payroll is going to create efficiency. And that next month or 2 months later, the bump in payroll is going to look like peanuts, right? What you don't want to do is create this model that has a real firm ceiling to where it can grow. So like that business that I looked at yesterday for the one-on-one coaching student, it's like she can't grow past doing 1 or 2 deals a month right now. And it's not because she doesn't know how to find the markets or this. It's like the team is literally won't let it. She can't get past it. And also in that process, there's starting to be this mismanaging of leads. People don't really know what they're responsible for. It just becomes problematic, right? Okay, so that's like the beginning framework. Now, as your business grows and you're doing a couple dozen deals a year, then you've got to ask, hey, do I want to continue to use realtors? And at that point, you're going to be paying a couple $100,000 a year in commissions, or do I want to take that in-house? Do I want to have more control over that process? There's no right or wrong. Like we've taken our dispositions internally. We use realtors on some deals, and frankly, it is appealing just to not have as many employees and just offshore that to a realtor. And if they're good realtors, like your boy, what's his name, James? Chase. Yeah, they're going to add way more value than an internal dispo manager can. They're going to go walk the property with sellers. They'll give you the comps. They'll like tell you what markets to go into. And so they do a lot more than just listing the property. I also do think a good realtor will command a higher price and it will sell faster than doing it internally.
Yeah. See, me personally, I don't think I'll ever, I really don't think I'll ever switch to that other role, the dispo side of it. I just like the hands-off approach. Yeah. But maybe you're right. Maybe it's a scale up point, right?
It could be. I mean, what happened? Freaking Rob. Get this guy a laptop, man. What happens is as you grow, there's a fork in the road, right? It's like, let's say you're doing $1 million a year and you say, I want to get to 5 million. Well, what we're going to add into the stream. Rob, come on, man.
Dude, I thought the whole thing crashed. Everybody, you dropped out first.
fucking Rob's using Windows 98 over here. The guy's got a jitterbug cell phone he sends a text from. So what happens though is that if you want to go, let's say you're at $1 million, you want to get to 5 million. Well, then the question becomes, okay, should we just go and move the quality needle and go after bigger assets? Well, if we do, the only way to make the math pencils, we got to go a value add route. So do you want to be a value add kind of investor? It's a totally different can of worms. It's a very different playbook. Or what you say is, okay, we're going to remove because like when anyone starts, I always say, set a threshold for what you want to make on every deal and try not to deviate from it. When you're first starting out and you've got no team or very small team, it's wise to be really critical. Most investors do the opposite, right? They're so money hungry when they come in. They want to do a small deal, any deal, like, just give me the money, give me the money. It's like, actually what's better is when you're first starting, set a threshold and don't fuck around with anything else. Because that little peanut deal that makes you $3,000 will just start eating up your time and you'll miss other opportunities. So be like, I say, be really firm on what you're willing to take. We're at that $1 million point. There's only so many deals that we can go make 40 or 50 grand on a pop. And if we're sending out tens of thousands of mailers, which at that point we are, there's going to be leads where we could make 10 grand, 15 grand, 20 grand on those deals, but it might not meet that baseline that we've set. So you got to lower that and you're say, okay, we're going to go quality. We're going to go quantity at that point, right? It's kind of the business model that we've taken. I said, okay, the way for us to grow is to do more. We started to add a quality component with some of this value add stuff, but I tell you, it's way different. Such a different game. Doing a lot split, it's one thing, but if we're talking about like real value add, it's a whole different can of worms.
That's where I want to get to is the major subdivisions and stuff like that. I eventually want to get into developing.
Yeah. If you're thinking I'm going to go the quantity route, you pretty much have to bring dispositions internally. Because if you're going to move that threshold for what we're willing to take, a lot of those deals won't be fit for a realtor, right? Or they just can't even take on that many listings, right? Really hard if you're going to, like, my team could sell 25 properties in a month in a certain market just with my disposition resources. If I have one realtor, I'm not going to be able to sell 25 properties in a month. It'd be like scrambling. It'd be really, really difficult. So it becomes a question. But the irony is, if you're going to go the quality route, then you actually need a realtor, because at a certain price points, buyers want realtors. Buyers want someone to show them property. So it's like actually this kind of weird flip flop. Go quality, you probably need realtors. Go quantity, you want to bring dispositions internally. Yeah, and that's one of the things that we've come to is like, okay, that's why we started using realtors. Some of these deals, it's like, a $250,000 10-acre lot in Texas. Buyers want to be shown that, right? I don't want to give them the coordinates. They go to the wrong property, and it's just a lot of confusion there. There's also at that price point, people start to have trepidation of like, why is there not a realtor here? It seems kind of fishy, right? So yeah, the dispositions thing, you'll cross that road when you get there. I wouldn't even be thinking about it now, just to keep it internal. And then at this point, as your volume is starting to grow, then you need like an ops person or like a manager. What we did is our generalist VA, we essentially groomed them to become an operations person for us. Not everyone has that good fortune. The one role that I allow to have a shit ton of overlap is going to be that generalist VA or like an operations person, because by virtue of operations, they have to kind of have their hands in a bunch of different buckets. And then at this point, you're probably going to add texting to your business. So now you need to bring on a texting manager. They're going to run that full texting process. If you're going to bring on other acquisition channels like cold calling or whatnot, you're going to need support roles there. And then it's really just about adding more of those same roles, right? You are going to want to offload your market selection process. So like if you want to get better results, find better markets, and you don't want to be doing that. So you're going to need a data analyst on your team or someone like that, right? That's why we went and created the monthly market newsletters, because you get for $500 a month, you essentially get to rent a data analyst that goes and quantifies every market in the US. That role would be tens of thousands a month. That's what we pay, tens of thousands a month to have that, because you can't have one data analyst that tracks 3,000 counties. You would need multiple. Data analysts are not cheap, right? But you need someone to go and do the market selection, and then you need someone to go and do the pricing as well. Those would be two separate roles. But outside of that, it's just more of the same, more of the same, more of the same, more of the same, right? You as the owner, the operator, I'm going to say you're a visionary. It's a little different for you, Rob, since you're on the integrator side. But if Dennis or you are just a solo operator and you're like in that visionary role, all you should be doing, IMO, and anything that comes onto your plate, you want to remove it as quickly as you can. Finding money, cheaper money over time, cheaper and cheaper money. Blessing deals. So your team gets the acquisition team gets the deal to the finish line, and all you do is you give it your seal of approving. Yes, no. But you're not doing the due diligence. You're not comping it. They're just saying, do you like this? And you bless it. Blessing offers. So your team says, hey, we got 4 offers on this property. You tell me which one we want, right? They're going to go through red line contracts. They're going to do all that stuff. They're just bringing it to you on a platter. And you say yes or no. The next thing is sitting in that visionary seat. So people like to tote that I'm a visionary. I'm a vision. Well, do you have a vision? How often do you think about your vision? Are you steering that ship looking 6 to 12 months ahead and building the battle plan for that? If you're not a visionary. You're just a guy that calls yourself a visionary, you know? And so that's part of that role, is being forward looking. Like any industry, land is going through evolutions. It's going to change over time. And the playbook that got you here won't typically be the playbook that gets you to where you want to go. And so you got to be thinking critically about what's that next step and then building the initiatives around that. What I do is when we have a new initiative, I roll up my sleeves, I get my hands dirty with the team, and I start doing it with them. And what I do is I document everything that we're doing. I turn that into a process. So I do the work once to delegate infinitely. That's one of the best pieces of advice I'd say. If you're a new land investor, and even if you're far away from having a team, document every effing thing you do in your business, right? I'm going to share my screen here. So I recommend just recording your screen on Google Meet or Zoom or whatever, documenting what you're doing. And then I like to also have written processes, because if your process change, which it will, going and redoing a video is kind of a pain in the butt, right? And so I also like to have written processes. I use Lucid charts to build out my processes, and they just look like this, right? It's just kind of like these flow chart things. And yeah, just start documenting as soon as possible. And so when I go through that, rolling up my sleeve and getting my hands dirty, anytime I go through a new initiative, I'm documenting that and then creating roles to support it. So that's it, man. So for you guys, heck no lead qualifier or whatever it's called. We got to go acquisitions all day long.
See, now my thought too is, though, if these deals seem pretty easy to close, right? So instead of me doing that and getting a lead manager and doing all that, getting a acquisitions manager right now, I almost would rather get somebody could go in. We get a lead. When the lead comes in, we get somebody that goes in, puts all the comps, takes the land ID picture, checks for water, checks for this, tells you what things you're going for, so that this way I could just click that lead and say, okay, here's all the comps, here's what it goes for. Okay, good to go. Now I just call that, hey, we could accept the offer. Good. If not, see you later. Do you think that's
that would be more of a general VA type thing? I would call it, because how many deals do you have coming in? Not enough to sustain someone doing that 40 hours a week, right?
And not enough to sustain a acquisition
manager either. But you guys aren't far off. Look at you guys got 20 leads from 6,500 mailers. We've done that, and we only started mailing like three or 4 weeks ago.
This month,
you guys now can understand how you can easily hit 10,000, 15,000 mailers a month, right? Especially because you guys can kind of divide and conquer. I usually tell people, if you're sending out 10,000 mailers a month or getting 50 plus leads a month from whatever source, you should have an acquisition manager at that point. So you guys will be there very soon. But yeah, all that stuff you're saying sounds like generalist VA to me, even though that is what like a lead qualifier or intake manager would be doing. I also think that there's probably not enough work to sustain them full time currently, because usually that's why we bring on that lead qualifier later in the game, because even at 50 leads, it's probably not enough to sustain 40 hours a week, right? But once we're doing 100, 150 leads a month, then it's way too much for our acquisition manager, and we have enough to sustain someone for, whatever it is, 40 hours a week, whatever the workload is. I'm a big stickler against ever doing any part-time hires. Not about it. You could do like part-time partnerships. Like all the time, I have people that say, hey, Sumner, I got this deal. I said, cool, we'll JV together. We'll do like a mini apprenticeship. I'll fund the deal. It's like a mini partnership, right? And they're kind of part-time, but I don't do that with employees. Y'all should get a business at or side by side accrues the parcels. What's that?
What does that even mean?
Gage says y'all should get a business ATV.
Oh,
literally an 8. Yeah, got you, man.
So the guy Chase, the realtor.
Yeah.
I called him this morning. I said, hey man, would you be able to take a look at this property? And he goes, yeah, man. He's like, I got my 4-wheel in the back and I got my drone in the back. I'll go do it right now. I'm like, you really just cruise around with a 4-wheeler and a drone? He's like, man, I created a good life for myself. I was like, dude, I love this guy.
What a G, man.
What a G. It's right. Okay, so
yeah.
So we're sending more mail now, right? So I want to keep feeding this guy, the realtor, and he gave us some good counties. He even gave us like price per acre in the counties. He's like, stuff is trading for about this right here. I mean, obviously, I'm going to double check it and see if it makes sense. But we pulled some counties, and those are the next ones we're going to mail, right? Would you focus one, that county is like killing us. Like we're doing really good. Would you remail that county pretty quick? The one we got 4 deals in, or would you wait 3 months? What would you do there?
Okay, hold on. Let me put this in the chat.
Okay.
Hey, the playlist specialist, drop me an email, sumner@thelandpioneer.com. I just put that in the chat. That's our land email. If you want to drop me an email there, I'll take a look at it. I'm right now, I probably get half a dozen to a dozen people a week sending me deals. I don't say yes to all of them. But I have a gal right now. She brought me an 18-acre and a 20-acre in Texas. We're going to take them down to 5-acre lots, and we've got utilities on them. One's got a house on it. Dennis would actually be curious to get you to underwrite that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to fund the deal. I'll do the whole process. I'll fund the improvements. She'll probably make 6 figures plus on the deal just from getting the lead. You know what she did? Got a tax delinquent list, started calling, said, Sumner, I got 2 deals. I said, cool. She got them under contract. Let's do them. Right. I got a guy that made like 40 grand off of a subdivide. All he did is just get the lead. And so it's a really cool way to get your deals funded, but I'm not a deal funder. I'm going to take you under my wing. We're going to do like a mini apprenticeship, right? I'm going to show you the game. So if like you don't have money for, whatever, maybe marketing or more importantly, education, that's the play. I've got a handful of folks right now where I've just given them a list, 10,000 records, skip traced it. I said, you cold call, you email, you text, you find a deal. I'll show you what markets to go to. You find a deal, I'll pay for it. You'll get equity in the deal, and I'll do the whole deal with you. It's a really cool way to learn. So yeah, feel free to drop me an email over there.
Gage in the chat. So Gage is a friend of mine. He's lives out in Cali, and he called me this morning. He was talking. He's like, "Hey," he's like, "Can I just go raise capital for you? Because you guys are getting deals like crazy." He's really good at raising capital. I was like, "Dude,
Gage,
yes."
my man, I've been looking for someone like you. I
said, "Yes, go raise capital." And then
I'm a generous guy. I'll give you a slice of the pie, whatever you want, man. Definitely.
So Gage, I've been working with Gage for over a
year.
Or
how about this, Gage? You go raise a couple $100,000. We'll partner on deals, and I'll give you a free pass into the LIA Group Coaching Program, so you can learn the land game. And when you can find some funding, we'll fund you. Yeah, all that stuff. Super cool. Okay, sorry. Back to your question, Dennis. What were you saying? Oh, actually, one more thing. John says, so it'll be Pebble and Launch Controls your CRM and lead outreach. Spot on, man. Some people think Pebble is a lead outreach platform. It's not. Pebble is a database. It's a CRM. So it's our database and our CRM. So it actually, like, Pebble removes a lot of the other tools that we're using right now. Like, we have our CRM, which is Follow Up Boss, but then we've got these crazy Google Drive schematics, and some people use Airtable for their database that merges them all into one. And then Launch Controls our lead outreach platform. I'll share too. We've actually, I didn't even know this. I think there's a discount associated for this. I'll put it in the chat here for Launch Control. I'm just throwing out referral codes left and right. I actually forget what the discount is on this, but I just got an email from Launch Control. It says like we're like their top 5 affiliate. We're about to win a prize. It's like a vacation or something. Let's see if we can run me up to the number 1. Actually, one thing too that I'll put in there, if you guys are going to use Launch Control, I got something pretty sick. I got 500 free skips through my favorite skip tracing platform that I'll give out to you guys too. I'll put that in the chat. Yeah, Gage, drop me an email, man. I'm happy to talk further. You could put me and Dennis all in a group email. We could chit chat.
Hey, he's my guy.
Hey, come on.
I already told him
the group chat.
I already told him that I wanted, because we were talking about raising capital, and I told him, I said, yes, dude. It's funny because me and Sumner literally just talked about it yesterday.
Yeah.
And he called me the next day. He's like, hey, can I go raise capital for you? I was like, yes, we just talked about this last night. Our goal eventually is to start a fund. So yes, we're absolutely go raise capital.
Gage, I love it, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
He's a good dude.
And Gage, if you need any like pitch decks or assets or case studies or whatever, I'm happy to give you all of our stuff. I think we've done 500 plus deals at this point. So it's good kind of benchmark that you could use to show people.
I need that too. I don't know if you saw my text this morning.
Yeah, I think if we could all, like, you guys know people in traditional real estate world. Sounds like Gage is good at fundraising. I've got the land case study. We kind of merge forces. I think really cool things could happen. All right. Sorry, Dennis. What was the question? Let's go back to where we are at.
Should we? All right. So should we remail this county again, the one that we had a lot of success in, like right away, or how long should we wait for that?
Okay, so before I give you kind of my cookie cutter answer, out of that county, how much data did we mail?
Rob?
That one was like 2,200.
Okay, but like, is there how much more data is there?
No,
Is
we
it like
mailed everything.
tip of the iceberg, or is that
We mailed 10 through 200 acres.
okay? So there's not that much data left. So typically, my rule of thumb is that we wait a quarter to remail. Think like doing it that quickly, you're just kind of step on your own toes. I don't think it's going to be super beneficial. I mean, it might be too soon for you guys, but I would take like an omnipresent approach. So maybe I would have someone cold call or cold email or text, and you could triangulate and be like, hey, did you get my letter? Right. But sending another letter on top of it now is too soon. So a quarter is typically a pretty good benchmark, unless you took that county and you took the tip of the iceberg. So you just took a few records, tested it, and you got good results. Okay, now I'm going to pounce, right? We'll do our micro mailer, get feedback, and then I'm going to come in and pounce and do something bigger. That's not really the case. You guys mailed a good amount of data on it. So yeah, I would hold off. I'd probably wait a quarter or so. The other thing is we've gotten a lot of deals. We haven't sold the deals yet. So like that's usually one of the reasons I want to wait a quarter or two is like let that kind of cool off so we're not stepping on our own toes with remarketing too soon. And so I can get a real case study from selling deals there. Getting leads is one thing, selling deals is another thing. That's going to tell you like if it's a market you want to work in again, it's also going to inform your pricing. I always tell people the best data you can get in this business is from the deals that you sell. The data we get online is crap data in comparison. Like you have the sauce at that point. The silly thing that a lot of land investors do is they get that golden information from doing deals. They do a few deals that worked out great, and they go look for new markets. Like, what in God's name are you doing? The cool thing is, as you build in this business, let's say you're 2 or 3 years in, you'll have hundreds of thousands of records in dozens of counties. It's really not about going and finding new markets at that point. It's about just remarketing to those places that work. I know land investors that make $500,000 plus a year net in one market, one county. I know people that do it in one city. So you don't need a lot of markets.
Wow.
Hey, I'm going to go get some water. I'll be right back.
Yeah. No, this is awesome.
Yeah, this has been amazing.
Yeah, dude, it's like, it's so crazy because it's like we were already doing this stuff, but for some reason, just talking with Sumner and like doing all this with him, it just completely changed the whole game.
It's getting all the what ifs and the questions that just pop up like answered at the end of the week. And in the flow of the discussion and us doing this, things come up and you're just like, I need a reliable answer. So it's either go to LIA or luckily at that point we were on the Zoom with him. But if not, we had LIA to go to at least. So.
And the thing is too, is like, we were getting cute with it. We were like, oh, let's text. So we were texting 10,000 texts plus whatever. And then we were sending mail that we were pricing at 25% of market and getting no answers. It's like, dude, and we probably didn't even price that right at all.
No, like honestly, I know we've talked that like maybe that wasn't a great market, but maybe we need to go back through, reprice it, and look at it and go, did we just like completely jack that up because we had no idea what we were really doing? Like it would be, I'm not saying we have to do that now. I'm just saying it would be interesting to go back and look at that and learn from our mistakes and go, oh, we totally jacked that up.
Dude, my friend called me today. He just started land investing. He's been doing it for about a year, but he's been fumbling and not really doing much good. So we started watching some of their stuff and whatever on just his YouTube. Just the stuff he deemed from that. He got, this is a weird lot. It's an infill lot that he mailed prior to, which is wild. Bro, he's buying this lot for $800,000 and selling it for 1.2.
What the hell?
It's a double close. So he's making like 400 grand.
Holy
Isn't that crazy? It's in Utah, right?
Is it?
Yeah. I know. But he's like,
the hard thing with Utah is there's no data.
Yeah, he said it was like a total like crazy deal that he never thought would happen. But then he got one today. He's like, he called me all excited. He's like, I just got a deal. He's like, I just got a signed contract back. I'm like, yeah, what is it? He goes, it's a buy for 40. It's in Hamilton County, Tennessee. Buy for 40. And he's like, I didn't think anything of it. I called the realtor, 2 realtors. Both of them said sell for 155.
What?
I was like, it's $115,000. He's like, dude, it's like a 4-acre infill lot. He's like, I'm baffled right now.
That's crazy.
He's like, yeah. He owned like a pizza place for like 20 years. And then he was just like, got into sub 2. He was like learning his thing.
Yeah.
And then now he just just started doing land, and he's he's actually having success, and he's crushing it now. So
It's wild.
it's wild, man. This business is awesome. It's just
It is a blue ocean too. Like, there's no way doing wholesale
you could do that.
we're getting this many leads in like the first couple of campaigns.
Yeah.
That are like quality leads that we're actually, and like the conversations you're having, Dave, like I had a lot of conversations wholesaling.
Mhm.
They were never this smooth.
No.
There's just not nearly as many like emotional hurdles or like issues with the property or the, like we're not dealing with even a quarter of the probate issues that I remember seeing.
None of them. None of them. It's just a different game. We probably have to pay Sumner off to stop teaching this stuff so we could just harvest all the deals.
Yeah, right. It's funny. That's actually what prevented me from ever coaching or anything along those lines. Like when I first got started, we're doing more volume than most. We're doing like a couple hundred deals a year. And so like we were plastered all over land.com and stuff. And through that, I would get people that would reach out and like, dude, like either like people shopping for land, they would just be like, dude, I'm curious what you do. Could you teach me? Or other land investors say, could you teach me? I was like, dude, I don't want to get the secret out, man. What if I get the secret out? My opportunity is taken from me. And then I realized that's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Such a big opportunity. And in fact, it's created this really cool flywheel where it's like, I learn more, I get more exposure to deals. It's win-win. Like it's such a net positive. But for the longest time, I was so scared to let this out there. I also just think from like a mindset perspective, even if that's true, what a weak ass mindset.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, there's niches all down the road.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just like
it's not just, exactly.
There's so many.
It's not just one business model. And frankly, some people got that dog in them. Like you would have to kill me for me to give up. So it's hard to compete with that, right? Some people just got that dog in them. And so it doesn't really matter if there's more competition, you'll get the deals done. Gage, I agree. Wholesaling blows, man. I've never done a wholesale deal. But just on principle, I hate the concept of being the middleman, managing expectations. You're kind of like in the shadows, like doing something that's kind of like gray hat. People hate wholesalers. We get people like you guys have experienced this. I'm sure you get people that literally are so grateful for your service. They're so happy that you're helping them sell their property. Buyers are so happy that they're getting a great deal on land. I'm sure some wholesale sellers are, but for the most part, I feel like people just hate wholesalers, and I don't know, it's tough.
It's really a cool niche, especially like with all the different things you can do with land. Like we've learned a lot about like how you can monetize it and the types of people that are looking for it and what they're trying to do with it. It's a really cool niche.
Super cool niche, man. John, you bring up a good question. It says, but isn't that sort of what double closing is? No, you're right. Right, double closing, you have that same conundrum where you're managing expectations. You're kind of the person in the middle of the sandwich. And so it's got the same issues, right? That's why I don't run an exclusive double closing business. And I know guys that do, and all they do are hundreds of double closes a year. I don't really like it. I will say though, wholesaling or double closing in the land world is a lot different than doing it for single family houses. Just less intense. Sellers have way less connection to their piece of land. Okay, it's going to take you 120 days to close. They're not coming at you upset. So like the dynamic is definitely different, but you still have the same issues. The reason I don't wholesale land is frankly, it's really hard to find like a B2B end buyer who wants to get a contract assigned to them, right? Your typical consumer end buyer does not want you to assign a contract to them, which is they're just not about it. So like wholesaling land, I've seen it only really works if you're doing like straight infill lots and wholesaling them to builders or investors. And so, no, you're right. Double closing is kind of the same variant, and it just makes more sense though for land. And we run into all the same issues, and that's why we do double close. But that's not my favorite. I wouldn't want to build just a business exclusively around it, right? But I do think there's wisdom in having multiple tools in the tool belt, right? Even if I was doing single family houses, I would want to know how to do owner financing and how to do wraparound mortgages and sub 2 and wholesale and fix and flip. I think I'm gonna guesstimate here, but I think a lot of folks that are wholesaling single family houses, like they are always trying to get a square peg in a round hole, right? And sometimes that's just not how the deal is going to play out. So I don't know. I'm not a big fan. Anyways,
hey guys, I got to roll.
Your thing.
super grateful we're doing this. This is awesome. I hope
Yeah.
everybody
Whole
got
year
value
now.
out of it, and can't wait for the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, thank
Yeah.
you for making the time. We're coming up on 2.5 hours. So appreciate it, man.
Nice.
You guys have a great weekend, Rob. I'll talk to you soon. Okay.
You too. You and Dennis will probably just do like another 3, right?
Another 3.
Don't put it past us, man. We tend
I
to,
know,
we tend
that's-
to hang out here for a while.
Once we start
Watch
vibing,
out,
we
Dennis
can
will try
vibe.
to fly in and buy you lunch or something.
Yeah, Mike, he's not old enough.
All right, fellas.
You need
Later.
some more
All
years
right,
on
see you, brother.
later.
Yeah. All right, Dennis. Anything else I can help with, or anyone have any questions? If you guys have questions, put them in the chat. Happy to do some general Q&A. But anything that we need to accomplish here to get you guys. John says, let's do some calls now. They love the live calls, man.
I know they do. I actually
Dennis-
got to call the brother. So I just set up the dude, I love this. So I found a mobile notary, and this is another like key thing. I called a bunch of notaries and I found one that'll drive anywhere. I was like, "Hey, do you do this? Whatever." She's like, "Yeah, no problem." I was like, "Where do you go?" She's like, anywhere in Oklahoma." I was like, "Really?"
Yeah.
So for $50, she's driving to his house, getting it signed, and then she's got to drive to the brother's house, who's 100 miles away.
No
She charged
way.
me, yep, $100 for him. So for $150, she's getting both contracts signed and emailed to me.
Bad to the bone. That's
But
sick.
I got to wait until Friday before she gets him signed because he's going on vacation tonight. He forgot for 4th of July.
Okay.
So,
Do
which is
you
fine.
want to call the brother?
Yeah.
Someone just commented on our YouTube video. Is it just me, or did anyone else think Sumner was Ben Haggerty, aka Macklemore? That's funny.
All right, let's see. Ken Choke. Three, 7, 8, 8, 9.
It's Ken.
Hey Ken, how you doing? This is Dennis with Cash for Land.
Yes. Hi, Dennis.
Good. Hey, I guess your brother gave you the warm up already.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Cool. So did he fill you in pretty much with everything?
Just a bit.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, everything looks good. We're ready to contract basically. So it should be 44,550.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a letter to that effect.
Yeah, it should be about that same, right? So I think that's what we sent to your brother. I'd have to pull up your information and see exactly. It should be about the same because it's the same parcel size.
Yeah. That's the same amount.
Oh, perfect. Okay, cool. So everything's good to go. I have my notary. She's ready to come by whenever you're ready. Just let me know and I'll connect you to. Her name is Cynthia, and she'll drive right out to you, and you guys just sign it, and that's pretty much it. It's really easy.
Oh, really? So this can happen in a hurry.
Yeah, it could happen in a hurry. So what happens is we get the title signed. We get the contract signed. I'm sorry, not the title. That goes to title. We get the contract signed. We bring it to title. Title just verifies everything. And then once everything's clear, we get funding. We do our funding, and then we fund the deal, and that's it. It's pretty simple.
Excellent.
Yeah. So as long as title chain is clear, which it sounds like your brother already said everything's clear. So,
Yes.
I mean, this is probably the easiest deal we'll both do.
It sounds like it is. Yeah, we've had our abstracts all up to date and
Cool.
did the title search, and
Great.
we should be ready to go.
Awesome. Okay. So her name is Cynthia. Do you want me to give her your number real quick so you could give her, so you know when she's calling you?
Okay. Give me just a minute.
Yeah, no worries.
Just write this down. Okay,
All
give
right.
it to me.
Her name is Cynthia. And
Okay.
the phone number is 405.
405.
Yep. 588
588
588 2049.
2049.
Yep.
My wife's writing that down for me.
Perfect. Yeah.
That's why I was repeating it.
Okay. 405-588-2049. Just so you know, she's going to call you. So you should just expect that call. And
Okay.
then she'll schedule a time with you. And it's basically the same exact contract that I mailed you. She's just going to get it signed and then email it back to me.
Excellent.
Okay. Yeah. Just to make things easier. I know your brother said that email's beating you up lately. So just makes life easier if I just send her and that's that.
Okay. Terrific.
Awesome. Cool. Hey, look, I appreciate it. While I got you on the line, was there anything else you guys were looking at moving or not right now?
Say that again.
Was there anything else you guys were looking to sell right now or just these two parcels?
No. This is it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, just curious.
I've sold everything else.
What's that?
I've sold everything else.
Oh, I just missed you, huh? Oh man, yeah, because we also buy houses and we buy land. But I was just curious, yeah. So awesome. All right, hey, look, I appreciate your time. Well, let's go for an easy transaction. What can you say?
Sounds great, Dennis.
Great. Okay, thank you so much. I'll have Cynthia give you a ring.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Oh, I mean, you can't ask for an easier call. Just a hang up, swoosh. Dope,
Brother
man.
already set him
Dope.
up. I mean, dude, where else does that happen? I'm sorry, but
No.
like I've been in real estate for so long. The only time I've ever had one call closes were PPC leads and some direct mail. And most of those leads were like, I'd call, talk to them. I'd have to go look at the house and then close it. This is totally different. It's like outlandishly different. So, wow.
So dope.
Damn. So, okay. So that one's going to go in. I'll text her and she'll give him a ring.
So we got a message from Mr. Kevin. He says, where do you access your trainings or course? So just so I can provide clarity. So we've got our flagship program is the LIA Group Coaching Program. It's a 12-month program where we scale people up to 6-7 figures in their land business. And that's really like focused on learn the skill of land investing. And then we're going to show you how to build a business around it, right? You can go over to landinvestor.co. You can check it out. You can also get just a standalone kind of do-it-yourself LIA course. Those are all the modules that we use inside the group coaching program, but obviously there's no coaching with that. What we're building here, though, so you guys are seeing week 9 of our 90-day challenge. So this is our Zero to Hero program. This is literally, you guys can see the inside scoop, hours and hours and hours of training of how we documented the whole process with Rob and Dennis to get them from 10K. We're at 200K now in pipeline profit with these 2 deals that we just locked up on this call. And actually, I guess we're not even fully factoring the full value of the deal that you locked up earlier today. So that's like a buy for 30, sell for 120 if we offload that whole deal.
If I sell it, yeah.
You guys get literally everything, how we found the markets, how we go and price the markets. We go through, we have all the recordings from all the calls that we went through. We went through funding the deals, all that stuff. Everyone inside the 90-day Zero to Hero program too also gets access to deal funding as well. So that's more like the 90 days, like, okay, the most pragmatic, clear-cut, logical process to start with a few bones and get a lot more bones. But that program is not going to show you how to go from $250,000 to $1 million or $500,000. Like, that's all about creating leverage. It's about building the business. That is strictly about how can we get you from zero to doing deals in the fastest route as possible. You see, if you go through the LIA course, it's like drinking from a fire hose. You're just inundated with information. And that's why we actually created the 90-day program. I'm like, there has to be something that's a stepping stone. Because if you're brand spanking new, going through the LIA course without coaching is like information overload. And so this is kind of the stepping stone to see the exact playbook. Literally, you could not lose money mimicking exactly what we've done in that program. It's like identical. John, see you, brother. Thank you for hanging out with us, man. So we're doing 50% off currently for the 90-day program. It goes live in 4 weeks. So it's a pre-order. And so you get half off, and then prices are going up to what, 1,800, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
damn. That means it's gonna end.
I know, man.
Wow.
This feels like we've been doing this forever.
I know. But like you said,
what?
No, I was going to say, like you said, the cool thing is we're going to keep going with this and document it after the 90-day, and which is awesome.
Yeah. So for you guys that are new on the call or didn't hear earlier, so we are doing a full year-long case study with Dennis and Rob, and the remaining amount is all going to be free, public on the YouTube. We're going to be putting that out there, but it's not going to be like tactical in the weeds, me showing them step by step the training. This is going to be more about just reporting for posterity. Like, here's where we're at. Here's what's happening in our business. Here's our KPIs. This is what we're focusing on. And so you guys will kind of get like insight into how their business grows, which when I first got into the land business, this is what I wanted. You know, I wanted someone to show me, here's how much money you can make. Here's what you need to do to get there. Here's how much you have to spend. Like, everyone was just so, there was like smoke and mirrors. Like, everyone was very like, you can make a lot of money, but I'm not going to tell you anything else. I'm like, dude, someone give me some clear cut fucking answers. Someone tell me how to do this. And that's what we want to create here. One of the most recurring things that I hear from people of like why they joined the LIA community is you're like, you were the first person to ever just speak clearly about how this works, and that the fact that you could take this farther than most people assume, right? Okay, so to get you guys rocking and rolling for week 10, anything that we need to do before then? You feel you guys got your mailers picked out? How much more mail do we have going out?
So I think right now we have Bullock just hit with 2,500. We just sent out another. Oh man, I think it was 2,500, another 2,500, and then I think I approved. We found a county in Virginia that we liked.
Okay.
That there was like, it was awesome. It was like the pricing was so homogenous everywhere, and like that's it. Actually, can I share something real quick? Cool. Let me just do this. So what I really liked about like a lot of some of these counties, like I found another one that I really like too, and I'll just show like what I loved about it. So I'll go to Redfin, pull this up. Screen, entire screen. Boom. Okay. So we go to Redfin. What was it? Hampshire County. What was that county in West Virginia?
Hampshire, Morgan.
Right, Hampshire, West Virginia, I think it was.
Yep.
So I actually did this county the other day on my 5:30 in the morning call. I do a 5:30 morning call in Sumner's channel every Wednesday. Yep. And that's just like I do something called impact hour, and that's the most important part of my day. I do that every single day. I spend 1 hour focused on one task in my business. And that one task is like the most important thing, right? What's going to move the needle today? Let me focus on that for 1 hour. So if you read the book Wealthy Gardener, really helped me do that. So this county, I looked at this, and this is how I find homogeneous pricing. I looked at this county and I was like, okay, look at this, 29,000, 5 acres. I go right across the other side. I have this is a little bit this one right here. This is 30,000 for just over 5 acres. Then I went and I found another one like this side of the county. Okay, 41,000 for 6 acres. And then 37,000 for almost 7 acres. So the pricing, all 4 corners of the county are like almost the same. So that's when I was like, dude, this is a good county. So like that little tip that you guys you had showed me, like finding that homogeneous pricing.
Yeah.
I priced this county and everything like that in absolute no time. It was like, it took me like minutes to do. It was ridiculous. And that was so clutch. So like that was huge. So I think for next week, can we maybe go a little bit detailed? Like if we wanted to pick like a detailed county.
Yeah.
Like something that we need a little bit more work on, because I know we know the homogenous stuff.
Yep.
But or do you think we should even focus on that now and just stick with what's working?
I mean, detailed comes in a gradient, so it depends on how detailed we're talking, right?
Right. Like, is it worth doing subdivisions now, or should we just get bulk mail out? And when we get a data analyst, then we could have data analyst pick like 20 subdivisions.
Or are you having a problem where you don't feel like you have enough data to mail accurately?
No, but I have a problem like that. Rob wants to just get cute with things, and I have to rein him back in. So he wants to get cute with his like zip codes and all that stuff. I'm like, stop. Which I want you to yell at him for that because I said
didn't know
stop
Rob
with
was
the
trying to
zip
get
code.
cute, man. You should have told me this.
Yeah, I should have mentioned on the call, but he's trying to get cute. He's like, because he's an integrator, so he pulls like the whole county, and then he'll only price zip codes that have data, like
Right.
sold data. But I said if the whole county's priced out pretty much the same,
Same, right,
just
right,
mail
right.
it,
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
just infer something. You have to infer a little bit.
Yep.
So
You know how I feel about inferring.
Yeah.
I can't say the word inference. I can say I do like inferring. So yeah, man. I mean, if you're
Rob,
not having
hey, I'm
it,
still watching.
what? Hey, Rob, we're talking trash about you, man. Hey, no getting cute. Okay,
We love you,
cute
Rob.
enough. So yeah, if you're running into a data conundrum where it's like, dude, we don't have enough markets that we can price intelligently. Okay, maybe we could take it a step further. We could start doing some subdivisions and whatnot, start using some zip codes. But if that's not the case, then dude, keep it low hanging fruit. Let's keep it as easy as possible for the time being.
Okay.
So is that something you're running into or no?
No, I guess we just keep digging, like keep looking for markets. You know what it is? We look at the sell-through rates and we're like, this market has crazy sell-through rates. We should go there.
Yeah.
But then it's like the pricing is all over the place.
Yeah.
So it's like, do we just skip it and go to a homogenous?
Right. Yeah, I would rather see you, let's say the market's at 20% a month opposed to 40% a month, but you can price it intelligently, go to the 20%. You know what I mean?
Makes sense.
That makes sense. So it's like it's always that balancing act, trying to find the homogenous pricing. We're trying to find demand, which you guys have already solved for demand. You guys have got a lot of data going over demand. I don't think you guys are at a shortage of good markets. Now it's just figuring out, can you price them?
Yeah.
It would be interesting to do a few test runs with subdivisions for you guys and to see how that plays out.
Okay.
Yeah, Kevin, maybe next week, Dennis will price some subdivisions live. Maybe if you guys want to find some subdivisions before then, and then we can mail some out next week. That'd be kind of interesting. If anyone mails those while Dennis is mailing, I'll personally come to your house and steal a banana from you. I don't know. I was going to say something, but
I'm going to just give him the people's elbow.
Yeah. I've been working on my boxing, man. I'm getting better. So yeah, man. I would be curious just to see. I mean, because that's not like super ninja. That's still pretty baseline, right?
Yeah.
But once you're going into zip codes and APN schematics and like blocks and stuff like that, it's going to get too confusing. So I'd be curious to see how that plays out. We could just kind of split the test, right? You guys have, since you guys came in doing the right thing from the beginning, you guys are tracking the return on these mailers, the cost per lead, all that stuff. It would be interesting to see that comparison of when we get super granular and we pull a subdivision. My hunch is typically our ROAS is just bananas. Let's see how that compares to going after whole counties, right?
Okay.
And I think you guys totally have the skill level to find subdivisions and price them. I don't know if you guys are at the point to do that with zip codes and more deeper strategies. You know what I mean? The other thing, though, I think there's probably a lot of markets that you might have already pulled data from and might have already mailed, but you're just doing a segment of that market. Isn't that right? So like there's a lot of markets on your guys' list where you're like, we're doing the 5 to 10s. What if we did the 10s to 20s, 30s to 40s, or did you guys do everything?
What we did is we basically looked at so let's say Lincoln and Seminole, when we mailed them, we didn't see like any movement in the 5 acres. Almost every parcel in general was 10 acres plus. So we just said, let's just mail 10 acres plus. So we mail 10 to 200 acres. I actually kind of want to do a niche strategy of just doing 80 acre plus with the idea of doing lot splits and minor subdivisions in certain areas, but do like, instead of doing a big mass mailer, I'd like to do like a really like 100 people, send them like 100 gifts and just see what happens and just track that.
That would be interesting. I'm looking, dude, that'd be very interesting. I'm looking at a service that we actually might create like a discount setup for LIA. I love going into these conversations because it's like, okay, well, what if we can send 200 plus people to you in the next month? Can we get these prices down? And most people will say yes. Some people don't, but they're at $1 a mailer. I forget the name of the company, but essentially what they do is they send these big ass envelopes, big ass padded, crazy looking things, and their stats on response rates look pretty interesting. So something like that would be fascinating. We do have to remember though that we're running on a lean and mean budget, right?
Right.
We call it $5,000 left. So if we get niche, so we could take a list of 80 acre plus, you could do out of state owners that they've owned for 20 years, take 300, 400, 500 records. You probably need a couple hundred to get any kind of reliable sample size. And we should try either the big ass mailers, or we should try like handwritten letters from like a robo handwriter, or like really cool envelopes, like you were talking about with that other service. I can't remember their name. What I would love to do,
Ballpoint.
Ballpoint. I would love to, I don't know if I need to start another business, frankly, but I would love to create a business mailing for land investors that marries all these different strategies. Because the problem is a lot of these services out there do one thing. We're the big ass mailer people. We're the robo handwriting people. We're the cool envelope people. I want to be able to do all of that, but just for land investors, right? And you could even bake in like a pricing service into that. You're like, hey, we'll do the pricing for you. We'll do all that jazz. We'll plug you into our market selection newsletter. We'll pretty much like a full suite. I think it would be really fascinating. But yeah, dude, it'd be cool if they are called 3D mailers. Yeah, man, it'd be very cool to bake that into this 90-day experiment. So
I'm down to do it. Should I just send? Because I get boxes at discounts from cookies. So should I just send
a box with a tiny little handwritten letter?
Should I just send like boxes of cookies to all like 100 people and just see what happens?
Yeah, man, that's interesting. Hey, first off, too, we've had a couple of people join the program since we've been on this call. But shout out to Glenn Dosano. I think I'm saying your name correctly, Glenn. Welcome to the 90-day challenge. Dennis, what do you got to say? Is Glenn about to blow up his business or what?
I know, for real, dude. Like you just made some like the smartest decision ever, because we're literally in pipeline profit about 200K right now, just off of this budget. It's friggin' wild. Just exactly what you taught us, and it's not like rocket science. That's the craziest part. It's just what is it? Succumb to the system, right?
No, surrender to the system.
Surrender to the system, right? Follow Sensei. Yeah. That's all we did. We followed Sensei, surrendered to the system, and we did exactly what you said.
Yeah.
And it was too easy.
It's too easy, man. And Glenn Glenn just sent me a message, actually. I'll send him a message back. I don't know if Glenn's on the call right now. All right, Glenn, this is Inception. We're on the call. I'm sending you a DM. We just gave you a shout out on the call. Stoked to have you in the 90-day program. Just so you know, just so there's no confusion, that the program leases in 4 weeks. So this is a pre-sale. And so in 4 weeks, everyone will be granted access. But kudos to you, man. Dennis says you're going to blow up your business. I think the same thing.
Good luck, bro. Rock it. That's awesome.
What a G. Okay. What was I about to say? I was going to say.
You know what we should talk about next week is funding side of things. Now we have all these deals in our pipe. Like we need funding of, what is it? 80, 60. We need like 250K.
Okay.
Something like that to actually get these deals going.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, I can raise private capital, but I also want to know, like, for everybody else and what we could do as alternative options, right? So I'm not running around.
Yeah. So the cool thing is for Glenn, just as an example, like Glenn's in the 90-day program, so he'll immediately get access to joint venture funding. You guys get access to joint venture funding. Joint venture funding is not the cheapest capital ever, right? It's going to waterfall split, start at 80-20. So you would get 80, deal funder would get 20. If you're doing dozens or hundreds of deals, that's a lot of money, right? Like 1 year when we were really heavy into JV, I think we spent like $350,000 paying out joint venture people. I'm like, holy shit, just find some cheaper capital. But it's a stepping stone, right? I think one of the most valuable things about joint venture is that you get a second pair of eyes. You get the sounding board that goes over it with you and reviews it with you. And I think that's really helpful. So yeah, for where you guys are at, I'd say on almost every one of these deals, we're going to go JV. But there are some of the smaller deals that we might want to get some alternative funding strategies on. So there's a couple different options we could use. We could use a hard money. Mm-hmm. So for smaller deals, sometimes that makes sense, right? You're just paying a few percentage points. A lot of deal funders, they're joint venturing. They want to go after bigger deals, like 25K plus. So like on that, what's that deal? It's like buy for 8, sell for 16 or some shit. I forget.
It was like buy for, no, it was like everything we have is over a 10K profit. So it's buy for 17, sell for 30
Okay.
or something like that.
Oh,
Or no,
that's
no,
not
sell
bad.
for 40, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, that's not bad. So we could do that. Also, one of the things that myself and a lot of LIA members do, interestingly enough, I'm shamelessly plugging today. I'll put this in the group though. Have you ever heard of Fund and Grow?
That's where you use like credit cards and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, so kind of interesting. I'll put
cool.
this in the chat for you guys. So I think it's normally $5,000. I think we got it down to 3,500 for folks in the community. And so what they do, and actually what the cool thing though is what a lot of LIA members did, is that you can actually split that. So you can go get 2 people on the account and split that 3,500, and they'll treat it like a separate account, but you can actually fractionalize that cost. So you can get a friend or another LIA member and be like, let's go in on this. You'll have your own account, but they'll fractionalize the cost. So
Really?
what, $1,800 or something like that. So what they do is you could go open up 0% business credit cards, but they literally go open up as many as possible. Then they call up those banks, they negotiate the best loan amount, get you as much money as you possibly can. They can get you up to like $250,000. If you've got good credit and a seasoned LLC, at bare minimum, you'll get 50, maybe 100, right? And then we use a platform called Plastic, ends with a Q, Plastique. And they take a 2.9% processing fee, but they wire that money into escrow for us. So we can close deals with that 0% interest for 12 to 16 months, whatever. And then you use Plastique so you're paying a 2.9% processing fee. That's it.
But
right?
once. You only pay it once, right?
Only pay it once. And you get credit card points on that. And you can turn that capital as many times as you want. And so the way it works is they do this every year for you. So you never get past that 0% interest. So like in 2023 or 2024, I pay them the 3,500 again. They open me up a bunch of new cards and we do it all over again. And so you're always at that 0%. And so you're never paying interest. You're paying a 2.9% processing fee. Now you're not going to get $1 million through them, right? But you can turn that capital so many times and it can fill the gaps in those smaller deals or whatever it may be. Super powerful. We had a lot of LIA members that use them for funding smaller deals. So I think that's a pretty cool strategy as well.
Yeah, I think I got to use them.
And then you said you might have some like private lenders. Can I talk to the group about how you're structuring those conversations? Like how are you talking to people about land?
So it's pretty easy. I just tell them like, so a lot of the guys I'm talking to are people that got burned on other deals, like they were already second position lenders or gap lenders, or they were EMD lenders, whatever the case may be. So they know what lending's about. So I just talk to them. I just ask them basically like, hey, are you still lending? And if they are, they're like, yeah, no, I got burned. Oh, whatever. I'm like, well, would you consider lending if you were in first position, secured to an asset with 50% equity? And they're like, yeah, of course I would. They're like, what kind of asset is it? I'm like, well, we buy land and then we take it and we go ahead and either sell it right away, or sometimes we'll do lot splits. Sometimes we'll do minor subdivisions, whatever the case may be. And then we go and reposition it with a realtor. So we have a realtor on the back end who takes a look at the pricing, make sure it looks like a deal, right? So before we even commit to a contract, we already know what we could sell it for. Was that something that you might be interested in funding? And they're like, yeah, all day. Well, how fast can you turn it? Well, right now we're paying anywhere between 8 and 12 points per turn. And our turns, typically we price everything so we could turn it every 4 weeks. So if we have enough deal flow, and we most likely could turn your money every 6 weeks, essentially.
Yep.
So it's like 4 weeks, a little lull, 4 weeks, a little lull, right? And they're like, so if I gave you whatever, $100,000 and you could turn it at 10 points per turn times 6, you could make me $60,000 in a year. It's like, yeah, I could technically.
Yep.
So it's like a no-brainer for them.
Yeah.
And for us too.
It turned out to be one of my best friends, but when we started out, we were like friends, acquaintances. We didn't really know each other that well, but we turned out to be best friends. His name is Matt Pallardy. Actually, I think he's coming to the LIA meetup in San Diego. Anyone that's there, you'll meet Matt. We're going out to the Lake of Ozarks in July together too. But when he came to me, yeah, it's dope. When he came to me, he owned a gym in San Diego. He had some money on the sidelines and started funding deals. And he got to the point where he's making $250,000 a year just from the proceeds from funding deals.
That's what I want to do.
Fucking crazy, man. I mean, like, what an opportunity. There's very few businesses where you can provide those kinds of returns. And he didn't start with $1 million. Like, we started with $100,000, and And it took a couple of years. It took like 2 years to build that up, but he
Mhm.
turned it into a huge chunk of change. It's really a no-brainer, right? But there is something you have to overcome just in terms of like people just not understanding what this business model is, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a little bit of educating that you have to do there. Now,
But I feel like
when
we
you're
have
doing
your
these deals,
rapport.
yeah,
We have
Yeah.
your rapport, which is like you. I mean, you've done it. You've done your experience. You have it. Like you have 300, 500 deals under your belt. That's,
Yeah.
that's impressive. It's easy to
That's
raise
good.
capital.
It's a really good point. That's why I tell the group, I'm like, leverage my experience or the group's experience. A seller comes to you and they say, "Hey, have you done a deal?" And you're like, "Well, my partner or my mentor, he's done this many deals." And so it's like, cool. We essentially, you can say we work together. Same thing. You're going and pitching an investor, my mentor, my partner, whatever it may be, like leverage the totality of the whole group's education or the whole
Mhm.
group's experience. And you can kind of put that on your resume, quote unquote, for going and raising capital, right? Super helpful. Super helpful.
Mhm.
Okay. Anything else? We covered next steps for marketing.
Mhm.
I think it's more of a case of let's not go super deep on getting these weird markets and trying to price out the impossible. Let's keep it cookie cutter. I want to
Okay.
do an experiment. I like your idea of experimenting. We could do the boxes. I think we should
Mhm.
either do like a robo handwriting or we should
Okay.
do like a big ass mailer, whatever it may be. And we should test. I think we should do like 500 of each. Should cost us about $1 per. The boxes might cost more. How much will the boxes cost to mail?
For my wife's,
Yeah.
want me to ship my wife's box? No.
Oh,
If
sure.
I were
So
to,
not like that joke.
no, if I were to do, I could probably get them down. Let's say, so that might be the problem. So if I do, because those are
It'd be
expensive.
expensive. Be expensive just for the
Yeah,
shipping.
it'd be even just for the shipping. The lowest I could get is like $25, right?
Yeah, too much.
So yeah, it'd be $2,500 cost.
So I
But
say
I'm like,
we do
that's
like
probably
this.
a later strategy,
Yeah.
like later in life.
That's for like warm leads, right? Like we're trying to
Mhm.
re-engage or just push it down the line. And at that point, just throw some cookies in it, right? You're gonna
Yeah.
pay for the shipping. Let's make it kind of cool.
That's what I was gonna do. I was gonna ship cookie boxes with like 3
Yeah.
cookies or 6 cookies in
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
But I think we should do that for warm leads. I think that would be
Okay.
really, really expensive.
I'll do that for 168.
So let's do 2 tests of 500 big acreage subdivided type land. And let's do the 3D big mailers and then maybe like a robo handwriting one. I've got a guy that owns like a robo handwriting company. I can't remember the name of it though. Do you know of anyone that does that?
What's his name? Yeah, I know Ryan Dosey,
Yeah.
whatever his name is. He does whatever, but I'm trying to think of the guy you know. Oh man. Okay. We'll figure it
I
out.
think he's from Ohio. I don't know if that's the same guy you're thinking of.
Robo handwriting. I don't know. Okay. So I'm down with that.
Okay.
So we could do that. Simply
So it's
noted.
gonna be about $1,000 for those 2 tests.
Scribeless.
Maybe.
No.
I'm not sure.
Robo Inc.
I think it might be Robo Inc.
Okay.
So we're gonna have about $1,000 in those 2 tests, right? We're gonna have 500 pieces each. They're really, really cool to test that inside the 90-day challenge. And then you're gonna have what about $4,000 remaining? So with that $4,000, we should be able to spit out.
We're probably close to. We just sent out 2,500. We sent out about 7,500 mailers in the past.
Okay, so how much budget do we have left? Let's determine that first.
Okay, so we have 7,500. So 7,500 times 36 times 0.36. So we spent another 2,700 plus 4,800. That's 7,500. I got 2,500 bucks left. Probably once because Pebble's gonna hit, Pat Lives is gonna hit.
Okay.
So plus another 1,000. So I have 1,500 bucks left over.
Okay.
That's just for my 10 grand.
Okay. Okay, so that's interesting. So maybe we just do a 500 piece test and just keep it at $500 for this test.
Okay.
So it doesn't get too expensive. Sweet, brother. Okay.
Okay, so we'll get that ready. So 500 piece. What kind of land? Where? What do you think?
So okay, that's a good question. Let's go subdivide friendly. Texas, Georgia, Oklahoma, maybe Union County, North Carolina. It's pretty subdivide friendly. Let's go like 80 acres plus. So big stuff.
80 plus.
And
You said
Let's
Texas,
go.
Georgia.
Yeah. You could do North Carolina. North Carolina is just a little too hot. It's a little too crazy there. So I'd sidestep North Carolina. You could do Oklahoma, but we've got a lot of Oklahoma mailers cooking right now. So let's
Yeah.
break away. Yeah, man, I might point you in the direction of Texas, to be honest.
Okay. So Texas.
So go through the market selection framework that we've been using. Let's
Okay.
go find some counties of strong demand. Before you send that mailer out, though, let's go spot check those rules on
Monday.
subdividing. Yeah, because it is county specific, right? So what we don't want to do is like, oh, we find out it's a really difficult county to subdivide it. What I would like to see, this is what I would look for. So 80 acres plus, and I would look for counties that have really friendly laws around cutting in roads, right? Because what's really tricky about the subdividing stuff is when you get a nice piece of land, but it's only got 1,000 feet of road frontage and it doesn't run along the length of the longest side of the property. And it's like, okay, well, we might be able to do a lot split, but if we could cut a road, we could make 10 lots, 8 lots, whatever it may be. A lot of counties have crazy road rules. They've got to be paved, all this stuff. I want a county that has no rules around it, or we could do a gravel road or a dirt road, and we'd pay like $8 a linear foot opposed to like $80 a linear foot, right? And so that would be like the real tell that I would look for. I would honestly probably put that slightly above demand. The truth is, Texas, there's demand.
Road cut and friendly is priority one.
Criteria. If I had to guess, I would say mainly on the west side of the state, you're going to find more loose laws around subdividing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then these types of letters, are they going to be neutral? Like
yeah. It's a great question, dude. It's a great question. It depends on how big we're going, right? An 80 acre in West Texas might trade for $500, $1,000 an acre discounted, like what we would buy it at. So at that point, we can make a blind offer.
Yeah.
If we're seeing that this list is comprised of a lot of $1 million offers, it's gonna be tough, right? It's gonna be tough. So I don't know, man. I might go range.
Okay.
I think I'd go range. I think I'd go range over just straight neutral. Here's the problem, though. If we're really looking to test the results, we should probably stick with blinds. Right. If we want an accurate data set, we should probably stick with blinds. The thing is, we can make blind offers on that West Texas land because the most expensive thing on that list is going to be a couple $100,000. I don't like making blind offers when we're in the millions. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And that stuff is going to be pretty homogeneously priced to where you can have a high level of accuracy. So I think that's fine, actually.
Should I mail 500 of my regular letters and then 500 handwritten to like half the list, like 500 to half the list, 500 to the other half, and then do a true test and see what our
you handwrite them?
No. I'm not gonna like robo writing, handwriting.
Okay.
So like, let's say I pull a list of 1,000, and I say I'm gonna send 500 to Rocket Print to mail our normal stuff, and at the same time I'll send 500. So same list, same parameters, same type of land.
Yeah.
And I'll send 500 this way, 500 that way.
Okay.
And then we'll
do that.
track the true KPIs and say, okay, which one did better?
Yep.
This one we got 20 leads. This one we only got 10. Okay. Well, the robo writing definitely worked better.
Okay. So let's pull 1,000 records forever this market is. Let's divide and conquer and split test that evenly. So blind offers, same offer percentage, same letter. Essentially, robo. The only thing that robo matters on is just on the front of the envelope. It doesn't really. I think it's stupid if it's on the letter. To be honest, I don't think it matters that much. Especially if there's a purchase agreement in robo. It's just gonna look weird.
No, that's stupid.
It's just the open rate. It's just this on the front of the letter.
Yeah.
But do you want to do robo or do you want to do big envelopes?
Ooh, I mean, is it crazy to do?
Envelopes are fascinating.
Should I do 300, 300, 300?
No, the problem with that is
not a big sample size.
Low that it's going to be like you get 2 leads and then you got 3 leads on one, and so it looks like a huge jump. It's just because it's a very small data set.
Okay,
I think 500 would be reliable enough, and we can extrapolate this out once you start getting paid from these deals, and we're not just with this 10K limit. We can start to get a little more cute with it. But for now, let's see. I would lean towards the big ass mailers. Let me share the link for you.
Yeah. I'm thinking because if you get a big ass mailer in the mailbox, you're opening that for sure. Because it looks like something.
Allegedly, these get a 90% open rate. I don't know if this
How do you track that?
Dude, I know. I'm like, get out of here. I'll have to ask Justin what this letter company is called. I can't find it. Anyways, cool, man. Okay, that's gonna be really,
Sweet.
really
Yeah.
cool.
So I'll have that prepped, and I'll bring some counties on Monday to the Monday LIA call.
Yep.
And then you could let us know, like, all right, these suck, don't do these, or whatever.
Yep.
If you have any that you know are pretty decent, for that type of like road cut in friendly, just let me know. Just send me
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
email
I
or
mean,
something
it's
like
still
that.
something I'm trying to discover, and I'm still trying to piece. There's so many freaking counties in Texas to
Yeah.
find what the good ones are. I know from my research that West Texas in general is going to be the loosest. There's nothing on the tip of my tongue of like which one to do. One thing that you'll run into with some of these West Texas counties, is that some of these Texas counties West Texas counties have really fucked up data.
Okay.
So watch out for that. Like I can't remember the name, but there's some out there that are really bad. Gage says loose road rules, Klamath County. Yeah, I mean, you might be right, Gage. I don't know. I mean, Klamath County is a shit show. It's definitely the wild, wild west. But Oregon, California, these like West Coast states minus Washington are
hey, Ange.
bad news when it comes to any kind of value add development, any of that stuff. Like their land use laws are fucked.
Tutti cookies in the
Angela
house.
in the house. What's up? She's in the room next door watching us. All right. Hey, Angela, I've been getting in the last 2 days. I got a bunch of people hit me up about the cookies. They were really, really happy with them. So,
Hey, are you sending them to people who sign up for this too?
no, sorry. They got to sign up for the LIA program. If you guys want a box, so this is pretty cool. I'll tell folks. We made Dennis, Angela, myself, Angela's Dennis's wife. We made land specific cookies. Okay. So we like the dirt cookie, what was it?
Land of opportunity.
Land of opportunities cookie.
Sweet success.
So yeah, we made these kind of bespoke cookies for folks inside the program when they join. So when someone joins the LIA Group Coaching Program, they send out those cookies. Andrew, we just sent out the first batch last week. We just put this in place like 2 weeks ago. I don't know if you made the cut, Andrew. I'm so sorry. No, I'll have to check. Actually, Dennis might be able to tell me. So, Andrew, you joined May 23rd, right?
Yeah, he just missed it. Our first box went out last week.
Yeah. Sorry, Andrew. But what I will say,
TuttiCookies.com.
Andrew, we don't think that we don't love you. We do have kind of an interesting thing that we're going to be giving out to LIA members, some swag, which aren't cookies, but they are swaggy. And if you guys want, do you have a discount code for the LIA community if they do want to order cookies?
Yeah, I think it's Ange, what is it, LIA 12 or LIA 17?
So, Andrew, if you want to support Dennis's wife, Angie, she's trying to blow up this cookie business. They're actually documenting the whole process. They're doing like kind of build in public. So documenting as the business grows. It's 2dcookies.com. I can attest to the fact that they're dangerous. They're delicious. We ate many of them in like a 4-day period. They're really fucking good. If you like crumble cookies, they're like big, delicate, juicy, perfect like moistness type cookies like those, but they're a little bit better. The thing with, whoa, Dennis, what are you looking at on your screen? Oh, it's your kids. I thought it was like one of those smoking. I thought it was like one of those smoking ads.
No.
So the thing is, do you want to share your screen so they can see?
Sure.
So if you guys like cookies, which I'm a cookie connoisseur, I love cookies. I like crumble cookies, but they're too sweet for me. They kind of hurt my head. They're so sweet. Tutti cookies got the sweetness unlocked. They got the right flavors. And then, Dennis, could we give LIA members, if they order cookies, access to the land cookie selection?
That's up to Ange. But yeah, no, I'm sure we could definitely make that happen. What we could do is we'll figure that out. We actually have somebody that's coming in and rebuilding our website right now.
Okay.
So
what's the discount code for LIA members?
Ange is looking it up right now.
Okay.
Let me stop sharing this. I got to go on the back end of it and get it.
I think it's like LIA something. So if you guys want to support Ange, get some delicious cookies. If you like cookies, if you're not a cookie person, then pass on by. Who's not a cookie person though?
I know. Who doesn't like cookies?
Yeah, I'm not like a candy person. I'm not really an ice cream person, but baked goods, cookies, muffins, croissants, fuck me up. Pie, love that stuff, man. Love it. But yeah, sorry, Andrew, man. Sorry. It's not because we don't love you. We do have, like I was saying, that we do have something kind of cool that we're creating. So I'll just tell it. We're creating shirts with a little landinvestor.co logo on the back that says surrender to the system, because I need to imprint this into LIA members' minds. The goal here in this 12-month arrangement together is to surrender to the system. It's LIA 12 is the discount code for anyone that wants to use it. It's 12% off, right?
Yep. LIA 12. Yep.
Sweet. All right, guys. Well, we've crept past 3 hours. We've been here for a dog's age. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. That's cool too. All feedback is good feedback in our book. If you guys are new here, come join us inside Discord. It's free. It's a great kind of interim to starting to learn the land business. We got hundreds of conversations going on every day in there. And so if you're like, what is this land investing stuff? I'm curious to learn more. I'm not ready to dive into a commitment with any kind of coaching or program or anything like that. I'll actually put it in the chat for you guys. If you guys want to join the Discord, it's landinvestor.co/Discord.
It's also going to be in the description of this.
Yeah, it'll be in the description of the video too. That's a great point. Landinvestor.co/Discord. It's free to join. It's pretty freaking bad to the bone. We hear pretty often that, why is this community so active? It's like you go look at a Facebook land investing community, go on Facebook and look at it. It's like 12 posts a week, 2 posts a day. The LIA Discord is cracking. I don't know. I don't know why that is, but I'm eternally grateful for it. Right? There's just people share, man. I don't know. I think it's kind of self-selecting. Like, I guess just the right people are attracted to it. But we've got folks. I'm like, dude, how do you spend so much time in here just giving out free game, like just for free? You know, you look like a Jerry. Dude, this guy's been in the land business like a decade. Guy's just spitting free game on everyone, man. He just sent me an email with 11 deals for me to buy. I'm like, dude, this guy's a freaking saint. Yeah. You got people like Ben G in there just dropping nuggets. It's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, Andrew, I know. That's like the one thing that we hear pretty often is like, how the heck do I stay on top of all the messages? You know, Dennis hates Discord for that reason, because things get lost real quick. He's a Facebook guy. I'm a Discord guy. But yeah, fun stuff. Well, thank you guys for tuning in, spending your Friday nights with us. The 11 people on this call, you all are the real ones. The 11 people on this call, you got to watch out for these 11, man. The fact that they're with us on a Friday night, 8 o'clock on the East Coast. You guys are doing the right thing. All right, guys. Everyone have an amazing weekend. We'll see you here. If you're in the LIA program, we'll see you on our Monday call, 4 p.m. Dennis will be on Wednesday with another live.
5:30 a.m. EST. So all early birds.
Yeah, come drink some coffee with Dennis and battle plan your day. All right, guys. Much love. Peace.